Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And tonight we're talking about the 1981 sci-fi dystopian John Carpenter cult classic Escape from New York, starring the awesome Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Harry Dean Stanton, the lovely Adrian Barbeau, and the fucking late great fucking Isaac Hayes and Donald Pleasance. God bless them, and God bless this fucking movie. I love it, man. And I am joined by the Inside Man and
Good
also
evening.
Cal. How are you doing?
Yeah, all
Good
cool.
evening.
Yeah, pretty good.
All good. Ready to
Pretty
discuss
good.
this awesome film.
I'm glad to have you here tonight, and I am glad to talk about this movie. And where the fuck is the image? Have I not put it up? Let me have a look. I'm sure I had it uploaded. Yep, I'm just not showing it at the moment. Here we go. Here's the lovely
Yeah.
Snake Plissken.
Mr. Plissken.
That devilishly handsome mullet and that dashing eye patch. Gotta love it. And nice. Which leads me to a nice little trivia of Kurt Russell with the eye patch. Apparently, this is something that he showed up on set without John Carpenter's knowledge, and Carpenter loved it so much he thought, "Fuck it, let's keep it."
Oh, cool.
Which I know, and to be honest, I think it does help as well. It gives him a little battle scar as well. It shows that he's been through it. He's got this battered old leather jacket that's really been through the mill. I mean, you can see clumps of it coming off of the leather, coming apart, everything. And you gotta love Kurt Russell.
From his really, really dodgy dazzle camo trousers that he's got on.
Oh yeah. There is a lot of campiness to this movie. He's got these like boots that have these little spikes on the front as well. It's really kind of over the top. It's like it was adapted from a comic book that hasn't been written or drawn yet. And I think that's why I love it. And here's Blue Collar Loser. Hey, you doing, man?
Hey, you made it.
Yeah. So
Hey.
So got my popcorn bucket, seeing the monkey.
Yeah. What's it like, Clem, man?
We'll get into it. It's just like imagine like a comedy Final Destination. The kills are they're so over the top. I couldn't stop laughing. It's borderline Evil Dead. Evil Dead means Final Destination. That's the way
awesome.
Wow.
I love it. I love the sound of it
Like
already.
It's just it's like it is what it is. Just don't expect a complicated plot. It's a freaking monkey, and it doesn't kill you. It finds ways like just something like a flamethrower hits you in your face, or like a random bowling ball drops in your head, and just it's so ridiculous that I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, so it's like Mousetrap with fucking with gore.
Yeah, and it's all about the stupid monkey. And it's sitting there just smiling at you and just playing his drums.
Yeah. Every time I hear the word monkey, I think of fucking Dennis Hopper in Mario Brothers going, "Monkey."
Yeah, look,
you cannot forget it.
It was cool you mentioned this movie because like I told my mother, man, this came out the year I was born, and like Christ, we're old, bro.
1981, yes, and it's nearly 30 years since the setting of this movie's year as well.
Yeah, I know.
Set in the near distant future, which was 28 years in the past.
I was like, what?
Yeah. No, the cool part is like
when they had the eugenics wars in 1996, they thought that was a long time.
Now watching it for so long, it's just the presence, because I've been to New York City a couple of times, and people tend to forget who don't live, in America, that New York City, it is one big island. The only way to get to the city is bridges. So like in theory, if you destroyed all the bridges, it's just one massive island. It doesn't grow anything. There's no nothing exported. Everything from the city is being imported. So for a premise that this would in theory work, if you want to make a prison, New York City is the perfect place, almost like how England, what they did to Australia, in a sense. Like you could send all your prisoners there, and people, if you built something around this, it is science fiction, but it damn sure could be plausible.
Yeah, it reminded me of Gotham in Dark Knight Rises, when they do the same thing there.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow all the bridges and that's it.
That was the whole point of the Dark Knight Rises. It was such they turned Gotham into Nolan trilogy. Gotham became New York City.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think they used Chicago as well, didn't they? A little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and yeah, Mystery is in the chat. Thanks for joining me. Is anyone else? No, not yet, but hopefully we'll get some more people in chat. So, Escape from New York. When's the first time you came by in knowledge of it or saw it, etc.? Inside Man.
I see this at the cinema.
Nice.
It was me and a few school friends. We liked the look of it. We saw the trailer for it. and yeah, it was amazing, absolutely amazing to see on the big screen back in the day, and it blew me away. I was obsessed with this film for such a long time, um, and one of my friends loved the Carpenter score that much
Love
that
it.
we actually we went to see it. I think it was about the third time we went to see it. He brought his little mini tape recorder in just to tape the soundtrack because we couldn't find the vinyl album of it at that moment in time. So it was just like pressing his like little sort of play and records to get the opening titles and the end credits theme music. Yeah, so that's quite a weird one, but yeah, great film, love it.
Yeah, back in the days when you had to work to get what you wanted. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
people were just going into cinemas of films they didn't want to see, just so they could see the Batman trailer back in
Yeah.
'89.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so the amount of fucking shit movies that made money just from people who didn't want to see it in the first place. I mean,
I
damn.
know. What movie it is? I can look it up. Was it the Star Wars The Phantom Menace trailer was breaking records, not because of the movie
Yeah.
quality, because we want to see that goddamn trailer.
Yeah.
See, I'll look it up.
But I think this was like a script written way back in the '70s when Carpenter was still a teenager, maybe something like that. Maybe
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was. It was. I mean, there's kind of conflicting stories about it. Deborah Hill says that it was in 1972, while he was at USC, and then Carpenter says, his story kind of varies a little bit. So it's between 72 and 74. So I think it's safe to assume it's 73-ish. It's just after he left film school. But apparently it was some of it was subsequently rewrites were based on the whole Watergate scandal and everything, and a few other little bits and pieces, because he's a very anti-authoritarian, I think, as we can see by They Live.
Yeah.
And not be Ryan's in the chat, and Timothy Berg. I think this might be your first time here. If not, then welcome back. Board need a cool new movie. Any suggestions? Blue Collar Loser saw The Monkey, and I'm seeing that you're already getting recommended it, so I might have to check it out myself. The Gorge is an easy watch, but
the Gorge is pretty good. There's some good stuff at the moment.
Yeah. Avoid Love Hurts. That was one film I was really hoping to like, but really came away disappointed from. And HBO 1983, a Blockbuster Video. Well, we didn't have HBO in England, so we had Blockbuster.
Yeah, well, and for a lot of us Americans, HBO was, especially when I was a kid, HBO was a luxury. People tend to forget, like, we always had HBO. For most blue collar people, my parents, we had the infamous the illegal black box there. We'd have basic cable, and like Dad would find a friend to get him like a $200 hacking box, they call it, and that would get you HBO or pay-per-views, because again, boxing matches were like $50-$60 fucking dollars. And back in the 80s, I mean, asking my dad making $12-$13 an hour to spend $60 on a boxing match was unheard of.
Yeah.
It's crazy now, because now you can just fucking pirate that shit if you know the right people.
I did check out. So Meet Joe Black was the movie that they were playing the Phantom Menace for, and Meet Joe Black went to go do 150 million worldwide.
Yeah, I watched that twice. I just haven't properly finished it because
isn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. But we are getting back off track now. So Critical, first time you came across Escape from New York or saw it, came into knowledge
with it. It's been one of those films that everybody talks about when I was growing up as a kid, and I just got round to it eventually. Couldn't tell you when I first watched it. I think I might have been a late teenager. Disgracefully, I actually saw Escape from LA at the cinemas and not this, because I was too young.
We're going to have to do something on that one day.
I don't know if I saw Escape from LA before this. What was this? Escape from LA, what, 94?
I'll look it up for you.
I think it was nice. It was in the mid to late 90s anyway, but that is pure John Carpenter not giving a fuck anymore.
It was actually 96.
96, right, okay, so
wow,
that's around about right then. So I don't know if I watched this first or second. I don't know if I watched Escape from LA and went, that's absolute shit. People went, no man, you need to see Escape from New York. I was like, oh. but it's been a few years since I've watched it, at least. So I watched it again last night just to remind myself.
Because Escape from New York kind of has this little line between being subtle and being campy, while Escape from LA just went full on fucking camp.
It's like fucking
Escape from LA just, I mean, like it is basically a shark jump in a movie.
So Blue Collar Loser.
I mean, I'm definitely younger than Inside Man, a little bit older than you, Luke. But it would have been for me because 1981 I was born, so it would have been back in the days of VHS. It's been so long since I watched this film, but yeah, it would have had to been back in the tape.
Yes. So you actually got to see it a little bit more in the 80s. I kind of saw the ending of this first because I went to visit my granddad, and he must have taped it off TV. He was watching it. And then Snake Plissken goes, "The name is Plissken," and I'm like, I have a feeling this is going to mean something one day. And it was and then Metal Gear Solid comes out, and
I'm pretty sure I played Metal Gear Solid before I saw this. That's for sure.
Yeah, which constantly references Escape from New York and Snake Plissken, and I'm seeing. And eventually, years later, I think I might have been about 15, maybe, when I first actually watched this all the way through. And I saw why Metal Gear Solid Snake was a big took inspiration from this character.
Very much so.
There's a lot in there. It's got the brooding stoicism.
Yeah,
I think Metal Gear Solid was one of the first games as well that just like totally blew my mind. Like when you meet the Garber Chief and he goes, the code's on the back of the CD case, and you're going through your inventory. I haven't got a fucking CD case, and then you realise it's on the back of the physical CD case for the game.
Yeah,
and my mind went.
Yeah, that game was fucking.
It just like no way. I'd never seen a game do that before.
Number 3 really goes fucking all in on the realism. Like if you kill some animals and store it for food later, and you don't play the game for 3 days, the food will rot. If you're taking off
the control plug when you're fighting Psycho Mantis, that you can't read your mind.
Yeah, no, you got to. I mean, you can read your memory card, everything. That was so awesome, and and it's because of this film we got a really cool fucking game with some cool little tidbits, and I think it might be.
It's one of those things that just entered the culture, I think, in many ways.
Yeah, it's got a distinctive look as well. I mean, it feels very 80s. It's got that John Carpenter feel. It's got that cool John Carpenter score. I don't think a John Carpenter film is fully realised unless he has the score. I mean, with the exception of The Thing, anyway, where he uses Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, no, like Inside Man said this on Lance's stream on Tuesday. Now, Gary, you know this more than I do with the industry, but like, is 6 million, is that so considered back in 1981? Is that considered low budget? I mean, because 6 million.
Yeah, I mean, see, at the time, a decent budget. This was a time when movies were getting anything from 10 million up to about 40 million.
Okay.
And those were considered to be high budget. I mean, I think with his ambition, I mean, 6 million is a very, very low budget, even for back in the day for this movie. When you examine the ambition of what the movie is trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an absolute masterstroke, really shaving off an enormous amount of the budget by shooting this in St. Louis, Missouri. I thought it was, what a fantastic move that was. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much halved the budget. It took at least 50% off of the budget because there was no way that they were going to be able to film in New York City.
Yeah, they did like St. Louis, LA, Detroit. It's like they just filmed in like the worst areas they could as well to get that look and feel like everything's gone to shit. And it does feel like he's stuck in this hellhole with Snake, lost without a paddle anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, out the budget as well. Lots of little tricks here and there just to maximize what he had to work with. I think it's a really good filmmakers to watch. And,
it is. Yeah, absolutely. I think we have imaginative directors like John Carpenter, and the reason they're imaginative is because they
just what Mr. is mentioning here as well. Because he did do that. He used miniatures with reflective tape to make it look like computer graphics.
Yeah. I mean, the reason people like John Carpenter are successful is because they're imaginative with a very low budget.
Yeah.
But in terms of the movie itself, I'm glad that the entire beginning was shaved off and we started where we actually did start.
Mm.
I
Because
agree.
the opening 10 minutes, I think, would have been, well, it's superfluous, really. It
Yeah, because
doesn't.
he's robbing a bank, isn't he, with this
Yeah,
war buddy of his, and it just
yeah,
humanises him way too much at the beginning, too soon, and
Yeah.
we want that mystery, we want that stoicism, we want this
Mm.
guy who doesn't give a fuck, but we do see little hints of humanisation, and it's not so in your face the way.
It gives you that hint of danger as well, doesn't it? That you don't quite know Snake, you don't quite know his capabilities.
Yeah, he's not really an all-round good guy, is he?
He's only a lieutenant in the army, I
Yeah,
think. So, you know.
But you got hints about him as well. He was like in the army. He's served. He's done the most dangerous missions in the world, and he hates anyone in authority. He hates the president. He hates the government. This is the guy who's probably done his service and was felt fucking betrayed by them, and he probably was betrayed by him.
Yeah,
I won't be surprised.
Instantly spawned hundreds and hundreds of 80s action movie stars.
Yeah, really.
Didn't he?
Characters and all that kind of stuff. Just literally off the base of this movie.
Didn't Carpenter say that he considered this to be a cross between The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and High Noon? I think it was. That kind of lone guy against everybody. Everyone's against him, so to speak. But there's elements of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and hence, desperately trying to get hold of Lee Van Cleef for it.
Yeah, that must have been a nice little fucking
yeah.
What's the term? The term escapes me, but he must have really creamed his fucking pants when he got Lee Van Cleef on that.
Because he originally envisioned this part. He wrote the part for Clint Eastwood, didn't he? The part was actually written for Clint Eastwood, and he was seriously considered. But then when John Carpenter came around to making the movie, what he did was he sat back and thought, well, hang on a minute, this guy's now a pretty successful director. He is directing, and he's a good director. Would it be a case of me directing Clint Eastwood or Clint Eastwood directing me? So, but next on the list was Charles Bronson, who apparently was interested. And the other pick, I think, was Tommy Lee Jones. But Tommy Lee Jones, unfortunately, dismissed the idea. I think he was busy doing other things. But interesting choices.
Parallel universe. That's a bit of a weird film, isn't it?
Yeah. Plus, what I like about Lee Van Cleef's character Hawk, if I'm pronouncing his name right again, fucking hell, I get names wrong all the time. I have to.
Hawk.
I use Hawk. Yeah, he is kind of the same as Snake Plissken as well. He's done this. He's done his fucking time in the army, just like Plissken has. He's risked his life, but he's still sticking by with the government, while Snake is turning his back on him. Yeah, and I love that. I love that little contrast between them. And Huck is really fucking really conniving as well. He's kind of a shady bastard.
At the same time, there's an understanding between the two characters. There's a connection between them, even if they don't particularly like each other. They do understand each other to an extent.
Yeah, and you kind of get why Hulk is very mistrusting of Snake, because what's to stop him from turning the fucking Gulf fire away into Canada instead of New York? I mean, that's
Well, I mean, it's Canada from the start, but I mean,
like you're saying, I'm looking up right now. Kurt Russell did admit that he actually said he was mimicking Clint Eastwood from The Man with No Name.
Yeah,
and then and the reason Charles Bronson was the first choice is because after Death Wish.
Yeah.
So.
So it would have been an interesting. You can't really imagine Charles Bronson.
No.
You need Lee Van Cleef. He's got that face, hasn't he? He's got that very memorable, narrow face. And John Carpenter seems to really like him having on.
He's got just a lot of amount of worldliness as well. Van Cleef, he's just like, he's kind of over it, but kind of still has a sense of duty and knows what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And he might not necessarily like relish or really enjoy what he's doing.
Yeah.
He needs to be done.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think he's not a bad person, but I think he's kind of seen which side he has to come down on in order to survive, really.
Yeah, because he knows that Snake Plissken is not gonna go fucking easy with his decision, is he? He has to put him in a position where Snake has no choice but to do what he's told here.
Mm.
And plus,
he's literally like a snake. You need to be on your guard, dance around them, sort of not let them kind of get within striking range in that way, because they can turn at any minute. Any snake can.
Yeah. Incidentally, the name Snake Plissken actually comes from a friend of one of John Carpenter's friends, and there was a guy that one of his mates knew. It was called Snake Plissken. What a great name to have!
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
Oh god, the amount of pussy that guy probably got in the phone. Or maybe some laughs is like, "What's your name, Snake Plissken?" Stop fucking around with me. Come on, serious. Not Snake Plissken. Seriously, if you're not going to be serious, fuck you. All right. But it is a very good setup as well. Like in 1988, the crime gets really out of fucking control, leading to really desperate measures by just throwing them onto this fucking island. And isn't Manhattan kind of like one of the more fancier areas in New York?
It's the financial center, isn't it, of New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is probably all due to John Carpenter's sort of like
anti-authoritarian
little sense of humor as well, like turning the nicest areas into a fucking crime-ridden hellhole.
I do love these graphics, though. I mean, these are obviously pre-computer graphics. This is all animation. This is hand-drawn animation, which basically is on a blacked-out cell. So any kind of graphics that start to reveal themselves in different colors and the text that comes up, basically what they're doing, they have it underneath or beneath a rostrum camera, I think called a rostrum camera, which points straight down on the cells. It's basically an animation camera, and they just scratch away a little bit of the black each time, and then take a frame, scratch away a little bit of the black, and that's all of the graphics and the text starts to reveal itself. It's a really clever but a very crude way of doing it, but it looks fantastic though. I mean, it really sells it.
Yeah, there's no blemishes or anything. It looks very, very pristine and neat.
Beautiful.
But it's a good way of sort of establishing what is happening as well. It gives us the setup a little bit, and it's kind of a little bit of an exposition dump, a bit of a cheat, and you got Jamie Lee Curtis doing the voice as well of the woman explaining what's happening. But what happens next is good exposition done visually, where you do see the helicopters just scouring over the island, and you can see this is really highly secure now as well. They've got the fucking army base on the Statue of Liberty, which is another funny little tidbit from John Carpenter, his sense of humor. But this is still very good shots as well. I'm guessing matte painting with some miniatures, composites, maybe.
Well, I mean, certainly the stuff with the Statue of Liberty. I mean, that was the only New York stuff, the only New York plate that they had. What I think was really smart. I mean, this is the genius of Dean Cundy as a director of photography. So when you see, that wonderful dolly, following Snake, and then we kind of go to the side of a building, and it's the sort of side of the building wipes.
Yeah, and it's black, and then you're in another location anyway.
Yeah, and then we're suddenly in LA. Yeah, it's smart, but it's effective. But yeah, some of the miniature work was amazing on this. Rob and Dennis Skotek.
And this shows as well that these guys aren't fucking about either. I mean, anyone escapes, they get blasted out of the water.
Yeah.
And this is what you're talking about as well, where it goes to a wall and it's black, and then it's moves to the other side, and it's doing a different location there, and you never notice. Tom Atkins, right? Yeah. And yet,
I love Carpenter's work with light in this film. The way he uses light in this film is just amazing.
Yeah, because it's sort of like it's trying to light up areas that are black, but it's kind of still keeping us in enough shadow, adding some atmosphere.
Some of the best dark cinematography I've seen.
I mean, he's undoubtedly, I think, one of the world's greatest cinematographers, Dean Cundy.
Carpenter really fucking knew what he was doing back in the day. I know he kind of lost it a little bit during the 90s, and I know there's fans of vampires, which I need to watch all the way through, but I still admire his stuff from the 80s, though. I really do. I just cannot help but love his sort of like very humble yet kind of out there style. But this is the first time we see Snake, and yet this is how you introduce him. Is just he's kind of defeated, he's weary, he's fucking tired, but he still looks like he just doesn't give a fuck. That look is just awesome. And you're kind of wondering who this guy is, because he was still this kind of guy in these Disney movies, wasn't he? Like The Strongest Man Alive and the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. And, and I think this might be the first time they saw him looking all fucking badass and grungy and haggard.
You know, small tidbits you always see, like especially back in the 80s, everyone knew it. People were smoking in hospitals, smoking in airplanes. You see a big sign, no talking, no smoking. And just see it in the 80s, because like everyone smoked everywhere, like bathrooms, movie theaters, people were smoking cigarettes. Yeah. And now seeing in a 1981 film, no smoking, like, which will eventually nowadays you can't smoke anywhere, at least in New York City. New York State, you can't smoke, period. Like, go ahead.
See, I used to like it in the theaters over here. Up until the smoking ban, we used to have a smoking zone. So it was always like the left-hand side of the theater was the smoking area. So I used to go to my local cinema. I mean, even when I was a kid, me and all of my mates, we used to buy a box of 10 cigarettes. Yeah, sit there thinking we were really hard, smoking there in the smoking section. But it was, but I loved that. I don't know, when you used to look back at the projector, the guy in the projector room and everything, and you'd see like these great big sort of swirls and everything of this kind of blue-gray smoke, the projector sort of lighting it all up. I used to like that, but thinking about it now, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, but I do wonder if, like, maybe I'm getting older, but I swear cigarettes just were different also back then. How much more shit's in them that they weren't back in the 80s as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, they were harder back then. I mean, it's not the same. You didn't, well, not as far as I know, you didn't really get light cigarettes back then. Yeah. Like, here's your John Player Special Black. Enjoy your fucking cancer kind of thing, Yeah. There was no light cigarettes that I remember. At least when I first started smoking. I quit a long time ago, to be fair, but
yeah, I've never smoked. I never really saw the appealing, apart from people looking cool in movies, and that's about it. The only thing I smoked was a bit of weed when I was younger, and that's it.
That and street drinking, to be honest. The two just went hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm over drinking. I'm over drinking.
Weed, sort of like it went from there.
I'm not going to lie. I actually used to enjoy smoking. I really enjoyed it, and get buying those cigarettes, kids.
The thing is, though, smoking kills, but so does fucking sugar and alcohol. But for some reason, that's not looked in. I mean, come on. If as someone who does like a good drink, I think if you're gonna fucking bastardize one thing, you got to bastardize every single thing.
Yeah. Kind of assholes against alcohol. God,
or just leave everything alone and let people make their own fucking choices. And I mean, this is kind of a good. And going back to something that's political, this is basically John Carpenter, slamming people in authority. He's always had a problem with people in authority, and anytime he got a chance to belittle people in authority, this is definitely the best movie for it.
Yeah. I've been hearing for years too, the dangers, and alcohol kills people, and alcohol is bad for you, and you're not going to live long. I wouldn't, Anyway.
Whiskey also gives you a whiskey dick, preventing you from having pleasurable sex.
Alcohol kills you, alcohol means you don't live long. I wouldn't want to live long without alcohol.
Yeah.
So, it's a good trade-off.
Ever watched Landman yet, where he's talking about
that was awesome.
The Italians smoke and the Japanese smoke a lot. They don't even exercise, but that's stuff, and they'll live till about fucking 90.
Yeah, fucking most Japanese people die like 110, and they're smoking 2 packs a day. Like, just saying.
Well, I mean, fucking, there's been plenty of people who don't smoke but still got fucking lung cancer or some shit.
Absolutely
like
right.
I wouldn't even say it was from secondhand smoke either. I would not be surprised if it wasn't.
Expensive these days. I don't know how people afford to smoke. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
At least when I was a kid, it was cheap.
Especially in America. boy.
Yep, and here's Lee Van Cleef, and he still looks fucking menacing as ever. You got Tom Atkins. I think this is the only weak thing. We barely see Tom Atkins. He's 1980s Tom Atkins. But he still has the mustache, which is more than I can say for the fucking fog.
Yeah.
But this is where they've got this transmission now. It keeps cutting out, and this is where the plot really is starting to kick off now, because they found out that transmission is some fucking nutcase on Air Force One, and it's a woman who's killed the fucking pilots, and she's saying, we are making a statement against the fascist police, and she's definitely kind of like something
stable.
Yeah.
Well, again, I have to actually this obviously before CGI, but like okay, like it looks like a digital shot. But like, so how did they film this to Gary? I mean, it looks like a digital shot, but it's not, because
it looks like matte paintings, but the clouds are moving as well. It looks very good.
Yes, it's a combination, isn't it? So it's a combination of actual plates. And the funny thing is that Jim Cameron did the matte paintings on this. James Cameron.
Mr. E just mentioned that in the chat.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, because I think he asked Roger Corman, didn't he? He asked Roger Corman if he could help him out, try and keep the effects budget low, and he got the Skotek brothers to do the miniature work, and Cameron to do the matte paintings, and he also did some of the miniature work. So those were overseen by Roger Corman's key effects people at the time. But yeah, I mean, it still looks good.
The really funny thing is that plane looks about as good as the one in Captain America 4.
Yeah, I like what Mr. E is saying. Cigarettes are cool. Vaping is not boys and girls. Yeah,
exactly.
There's more vapes than cigarettes. Well, yeah, it's like when they say vegetable oil is fucking healthier than lard. No, it's not, because you got all this other fucking shit added into it. That's probably the reason why people are even fatter than ever, or fucking getting diabetes or some illnesses.
Oh yeah, that's why. I busted balls my friend Kaylee. Chris, I haven't drank for 400 days. Awesome. You know, I still vape. I still smoke weed. I did a little bit of coke, a little bit of ecstasy. I did some, some acid, but I haven't drank for 400 days.
So you've been miserable for 400 days.
But she's done every single thing on earth but drinking. I'm like, oh, well, just slow down, take it light.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a whiskey gal all these days. I mean, I'll still have a fucking pint on a cold day, but I don't know, if I have whiskey straight and I don't overdo it, I don't get fucking hangovers or feel sick. That seems to be all right.
Around here somewhere. No idea where.
Yeah, I've got a single malt in there. It's a cheap one and not an aged one, but I might fish it out later. I don't know yet.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Peer pressure.
Yeah. Halloween 3.
You've got a plate moving behind, but they're moving it to give the illusion of the plane going by.
Yeah, because I always wondered about that. That's fucking hell. They need to bring shit like that back in new movies. I know it looks a little bit more aged now, but it's visually appealing to look at.
Some of the greatest special effects ever invented were people just making do.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when you can just go, fuck it, we'll fix it in post with CGI, you end up with some of the dog shit that we see in Brave New World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could not believe how bad the green screen effect was when Anthony Mackie, spoiler, is talking down the Red Hulk. I couldn't believe it. How did somebody let that go through? We're not spending another dime on this. Release it as it is. We don't care anymore. But it looks so bad.
Or fucking stream it. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it must have cost more money to get in fucking cinemas. But yeah, we're moving on.
You can't send the first Black Captain America film to stream.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Disney knew they weren't going to make a profit on this one. They just took the hit, and they're just hoping that Fantastic Four will mark an uptrend. If they had somebody as creative as John Carpenter or something like that, then they'd probably be all right. But the films are very, very lazy, unfortunately. You don't have real artists, and when they do get a real artist, somebody like Sam Raimi, they just chain him. They just don't let him. They don't let him do what he wants.
Now it's funny how she says right here, some of her dialogue, she says that there's a racist police state. I'm like, huh. Even back in the 80s, like I mean, she's kind of like basically bombing New York City, but like, how is it? It's kind of a weird line.
She's a criminal, so it's okay. But she's obviously like
freedom, just to crash it into a load of prisoners.
I do. I tend to think that her piece of dialogue is really John Carpenter talking there.
Yeah.
See, I like to just think this is what happened with the DEI initiative when you let a woman fly.
Yeah, no, there you go.
Yeah, which is, I mean, the whole, let me say the term race, I'm not against that if they were doing something, but like this, I mean, making New York City a basic big prison, I wouldn't see that being a racial thing. In fact, she says,
no, definitely not. No, I mean, I think
No.
it's more of a fascist police state that she's rebelling against. It's that sense of authority, isn't it? You get the same kind of thing in They Live. There's nearly exactly the same themes going through it.
Yeah, it's exactly
a fascist police state that's just secretly.
It's crazy how Carpenter could do something so complex yet so simple at the same time. He just puts a simple story, but the political things all like is like a layer on it. It's like a layer. You know, the main ingredients.
I mean, like John Carpenter's always been anti-establishment, always, and never more so than the establishment that is Hollywood. And you know, he's done it his own way, and that's one thing to really admire about it. His film career, I think.
That fucking producers interrupt his movies and try to ruin his movies, and I think he gave up doing proper studio films in about maybe the mid-80s, and after that he was just happier. But I like the fact that this is they mentioned in the commentary that they decided to use a woman doing this instead of a man. It would add like a new kind of little spin on it. But Panko's tits up because the president fucking escapes, doesn't he? And I don't know if this was intentional. I think you mentioned this was John Carpenter's real thoughts, but she does come across like something that could be Antifa today, you know. Just
absolutely. The thing I love about this is how gently he hits the door with the rifle. Which watching it,
it's like,
maybe some really expensive prop gun you can't afford to break it or something. It's just like,
how did she end up flying that plane as well? Was she working these people from the inside for months before unleashing their plan to fucking bomb the president? I don't know.
We don't need to know, really, do we? But
I know it's like it's just something that happens to kick the plot off, and this is where we meet Donald Pleasance as well. And I love this. I love Donald Pleasance. I know he had a bit of a drinking problem in the past, though, but John Carpenter really seemed to love this guy because he had
he did,
He really did. And he looks like he's having fun in it.
The sign of a really good director is one that can bring the best performances out of their actors. Now, I watched The Lighthouse last night, and the performances that Robert Eggers got out of Willem Dafoe and Rob Pattinson, absolutely mind blowing. I was just like, whoa, this is just like two actors just at the top of their game. And although it can be down to the actor, we've seen too many films where you've got an average or an inadequate director who doesn't know how to marshal those actors and their personalities and get the best out of them. I mean, Jim Cameron used to torture his actors to get the best out of them.
Yeah, no, fucking.
And it worked.
The Abyss, I mean, fucking hell, I think people nearly drowned.
Hell.
Yeah, we need to recombine CGI and practical. Yeah, because we used to do that in the fucking 90s, but we don't do it.
The CGI always used to enhance. And when CGI was used to enhance, it worked very well. The big problem now is they use CGI to create. And they use it to create entire scenes, entire shots. And that's when it starts to look fake. I think if you just use CGI to enhance a scene, then it can look absolutely fine. But when you're just watching a CGI created film, you just notice very, very, very quickly.
Yes, Pleasance is kind of unique.
Uncanny Valley and stuff like that. You know, the brain can't always be tricked in that way, which is why when something looks out, it looks off, your brain just goes straight away.
Because we've seen it so many fucking times, our eyes have naturally trained to notice it. But yeah, and you can really notice his American accent goes all over the place, like every time.
It's rough. It's rough to say the least.
But he's still fun to watch in it though, because he's playing this guy like an absolute fucking coward and buffoon and just a total idiot as well. But that's the whole point. It's a very anti-establishment, and any movie that takes a dig at fucking politicians, it's all right.
He's playing the politician, isn't he? It's just simply that.
I think that was an hilarious story that John Carpenter wove to convince him to take the role, wasn't it? I mean, obviously the fact that he was this president was supposed to be the love child of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher.
Oh damn!
And that's what he told, the story that he wove to convince Donald Pleasance to take the role of the president. Yeah, which kind of doesn't quite add up in the timeline, but yeah, that was the thing that convinced him.
Yeah, because it looks like he would
Based
be.
around that concept, surely.
Yeah, because he must have been born fucking years, like 50 fucking years before.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, 1947, some shit like that. But before Thatcher and them became president.
But I liked. I mean, I really like Donald Pleasance. As you say, I know that he's had a few sort of issues with his drinking on set and all that kind of stuff. But this, I think he did bring quite a lot of his actual past to this role, because he was a fighter pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was a fighter pilot in the Far East, and was captured by the Japanese and tortured by the Japanese in a prisoner of war camp. And he
used it for his capture scenes as well, didn't he?
Yeah. And also
what he was going through,
and also the kind of vengeance that he felt that he really wanted to unleash on his captors when he's standing there at the end. You're the Duke. You're the Duke.
You can really tell it's cathartic for him.
There's some catharsis there when he's gunning down the Duke.
It is. I know, because I mean, you do kind of. This is one of the few times where you do actually cheer him on, because he's a fucking arsehole, but he has been through hell and back. He has been through fucking hell.
Yeah.
So it gives him a little bit of dignity, but he still never fucking changes who he is. He's still an arsehole, and Snake basically gives him the fucking finger at the end, which we will get to. But I do love this little fucking egg.
It's a little pod, This pre-Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik here.
Yeah.
Oh god,
I don't know how much they spent on the prop either, but when it gets in, you can see like the upholstery at the back just moving and everything. We made a cardboard or something like that.
Well, I love these little establishing shots as well, like where he's getting the little heart monitor thing attached to him. He's got the briefcase attached. Okay, so he's definitely trying to protect something here that's very important, and they put him in there, and he fucking lets everyone die for him. He's like, your sacrifice will not be in vain. May God look above you.
Yeah. But that pod, that escape pod, was actually repurposed for an episode of Mork and Mindy later on in the 80s, when Mork and Mindy get married and they travel to his home planet, apparently.
I think a lot of the locations on this was used for Blade Runner as well, wasn't they? Some of the sets anyway was kind of refurbished and used for it. I don't know.
I don't think it was, mate. Unless it was stuff that was on the. The only thing that I can remember is on anything on the Universal backlot, perhaps. Because they used some of the stuff in the Universal backlot for Blade Runner, didn't they?
Yeah.
As well as in downtown.
Blade Runner instead of doing June.
Sorry, mate. Say that again.
I said Ridley Scott did Blade Runner instead of doing June.
Yeah, that was abandoned quite some years before, wasn't it? I know it's
his brother died or something, I think.
That's right. Exactly that. Yeah. It's exactly that. And I think that was the excuse. That's the excuse. That's a terrible word for me to use. That was the reason for him perhaps being not quite himself on the set of Blade Runner as well.
Yeah, I think that was that should be a fucking production hell in itself. I mean, because there was a lot of people who worked on that film never wanted to work in movies again after working on Blade Runner. But I do like this shot as well. Where
have a word of drink when you've got his ear. Get him do a production hell. I watched his one on the Blake Lively thing. Jesus.
Oh yeah. That's gonna. I won't go into too much, but I think Justin Baldoni is gonna fucking win this one.
Her career is going to be anything but lively going forward.
Yeah. Reynolds is going to fucking probably end up divorcing Blake Lively because she's basically got him involved in this affair that's fucking making him look bad as well. Yeah, I would not be surprised. And I won't blame him. Because he should have took Blake Lively's side and said, listen, bitch, fucking chill.
She's not even that good of an actress, neither.
An evil woman, dude.
Yeah, but I like the shot here as where it's kind of like they can't afford to have the plane fly into a miniature and explode it, but this is a good way to cheat, but still let you know what is happening. But obviously, I think this is probably a mix of
it's going to be Tron, isn't it? When was Tron?
After this,
was on about maybe a year after this.
So a year before Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as we keep saying, these guys at the time were limited by the technology, but in retrospect, for what like Inside Man will constantly say, for what they were going for, like, this wasn't the biggest budget, but like the storyline's good, and we appreciate now the special effects because based on their technology, these guys, this was really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah,
some of the best special effects have been invented because they had to find a way.
Yeah,
they literally just had to find a way of doing it. And they did
but I think you have to have the mind to you have to be a different thinker, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to think.
You got to think outside the box. Everything.
You have to be a Roger Corman or a Tom Woodruff Jr.
Tom Woodruff Jr. is the alien. From Aliens onwards.
That's what I thought. And again, people like James Cameron,
I want to see
this guy fucking knew what he was doing.
I mean, in terms of this, I think you can tell that both John Carpenter is a different thinker, and the effects guys, the Skotek brothers and Jim Cameron, are different thinkers, because they find these miraculous ways of executing something, without it being really high tech. I thought the reflective tape on the models and having everything in the dark was absolutely ingenious.
Yeah, I know you'd think it was computer graphics back then, but no, it's all practical.
DIY jerry rigging kind of approach to it, almost like the 80s. We're going to get these things, and then somehow we're going to make something out of it. It's actually going to work, and that just isn't there in cinema these days. I don't think. Not in.
That's where this character we get this guy a couple times during the film.
CGI.
Yeah,
this
Frank
guy
Doubleday plays him. What's
I swear, just a few times he reminds me of Michael Biehn. I don't know why.
He's a very talented guy, isn't he? Yeah, but this is where they're trying to find the pod where the president is, but he's not in there. And then while they're searching around, this guy shows up, and it's obviously the Duke has got the president, but we don't know it's the Duke yet. We know someone's got the president now, and they obviously know it's the president, and he's not out for a ransom either. All he wants is the fucking people in. All he wants is the fucking security to fucking get out of here. He's like, you touch me, he dies. You're not out of here in 20 seconds, he dies. And Lee Van Cleef does try to negotiate with him, but the guy's just not having it. It shows he's serious as well. I mean, that's fucking demented. And it's got the ring on as well, so you know it's the president's finger.
Yeah. He has this really sinister laugh too. He's just like the whole like like that and shaking. Like, look at him right there,
absolute maniac.
Look at that. I'm like this guy. When I was listening to him, I'm like, wow, like that's a laugh.
Yeah, but I like the story behind you. I don't know whether you know the story behind the DC-3 that they managed to get into the streets of St. Louis. It was a smashed up DC-3, so they scattered the streets with all these parts of this aircraft: wings, engines, tail, fuselage, etc. Really dressed it up to make it look like it had, caught fire and exploded. And of course, some members of the public had actually seen it, because this is in a district of St. Louis that had the waterfront in St. Louis that had burned down. So there's a huge fire that swept through. And some members of the public had strolled through, and they'd seen this DC-3, remains of this DC-3 that still had sort of like fire bars on it and everything, so the flames coming off of it. Of course, the very next day, there was this huge spread in the St. Louis Journal, I think it was. With this plane crash at the waterfront in St. Louis, and all of these eyewitness reports. These people that claimed that they were eyewitness and they saw the plane come down, and they saw the bodies scattered everywhere, and it was completely fake.
That's the magic of always fucking random people. Come on.
and all the eyewitnesses claimed that they saw bodies everywhere, and they saw the plane come down, and funny.
Oh, I love stories like that. That's what I love about these old movies. They've always got these little sort of like bits of trivia that just make them interesting. And this is where they're almost resorting to taking a fucking army into the island, but no, he wants to use that as a last resort because he's using the only plan he can think of now to get the president out, and that is Snake Plissken. And I like how he loads his gun as well just before Plissken. Plissken already sees him load the gun because he's already in the room with guards, just in case Plissken fucking tries something.
This pays off later on too because he's like, hey Plissken, he goes, call me Snake. Later on, that'll be reversed.
Yeah, he's trying to butter him up a little bit as well. Like, just can you do these cuffs? He's like, I'm not a fool, Plissken.
Yeah.
It's a great scene though because they get to measure each other in the street. That they both realise that there's no bullshitting in this. It's going to be two guys who understand each other communicating on that level. But the normal kind of bullshit and play is not going to work. So there is this. I do feel like there is this mutual respect, if not mutual like, of each other.
Yeah, we do also get, and it does also give a little bit of exposition on Snake to let you know, okay, this is why he's a capable fucking fighter. This is why he's able to adapt to his surroundings. He's led that life. And it's not like forced exposition, all right? This is like something someone would actually read in a room to a convict who was in the fucking army and needs him for a mission.
I don't know why. It's a small, stupid thing. The way he grabs a match, he just like, the way he flicks the match and I don't know, it just sits back and just like Kurt Russell got that. Like, he's not Clint Eastwood, but fuck, man. There's something just cool and badass, intimidating about it. He just no fucks given.
And that's,
we always try to be like Snake. Really cool work. There's something about what he does that just makes the character beyond any dialogue or any action or anything like that. It's these little affectations almost that he does that just makes the character his own, I think.
Yeah, was it? I wouldn't need a rescue. I believe it.
Lord Trump.
You could negotiate your fucking way out of there, man.
The most beautiful rescue.
Oh yeah, I got doors. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Yeah, it's we'll definitely rewatch Watchmen together, man. Because Rorschach.
Yeah, you're always welcome, Trump.
Yes,
you're always welcome.
We should do that. We should do that one.
Yeah. So
probably one of Zack Snyder's films.
Rachel Percy. Thanks for joining us. I hope we entertain you tonight. And Kurt Russell is a pure masculine cool down. Yeah, we need more fucking heroes like this. And I did hear Charlie Cullen was going to be playing him in a remake, but that was like 10 years ago, and I don't think that's.
No, don't remake this. Don't remake this. There's some things that are just over time.
Yeah, even if they do a good job, it's gonna lack that personality of this. It's got a very certain look.
There's some things that are just of that time, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it's a product of its time. That's why it's still so good. And Lord Toxic. Yeah, sorry, I missed you there, man. Yeah, call me Snake. Lord Toxic to random shippers.
Random STDs.
Yeah, and I love that. And this is where he fills him in on there what's happened, and he's like, they took the president, and Snake is like, president of what?
Exactly.
And once again, you're seeing that disdain for authority from him without it being spelled out. So this is a guy who does not give a fuck about governments or people who work in authority, all that. He's turned his back on these people. He's had it with these assholes. So yeah,
it's all due to the betrayal, isn't it? He has been betrayed.
I think Mystery has established this as well. It all goes back to because Vietnam was still fresh in the minds of a lot of people, and there was a lot of veterans who felt really fucking let down by the country they were serving. So yeah, there was.
But I think the main thing was the Leningrad ruse, wasn't it? The Leningrad incident that they discussed. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's known about his mission. He flew into Leningrad without anyone knowing, and this was back when the Cold War was still going on.
Yeah.
He probably had no idea about the fall of Berlin Wall, which would happen maybe 8 years later, 10 years later.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like governments were just disavowing and plausible deniability and stuff like that. Nothing to do with us. Rogue operative.
I don't give a fuck about your war or your president.
No, exactly. That's what's great about this character is just the whole world is gonna fucking burn in hell anyway. At least I can probably try and die in peace before it does.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's not exactly what you would call a selfless character.
Yeah, he is kind of in it for himself a little bit. He's out for number one, and
of course,
I think that's why he's an anti-hero, because he's not altruistic. He's not out to be a white knight or anything like that. The world is already...
That's so refreshing as well, isn't it? Like sometimes you get so sick of that, true blue Boy Scout kind of thing. It's nice to get.
This is before. Sorry, look.
Yeah, because I think we all feel sometimes that the whole world can go to hell. We've had that. He's the hero that kind of feeds into that. He's the one that speaks to that part of us.
Well, let's say, this is before the term, I think maybe Deadpool or somebody, maybe Venom, but the term anti-hero became popular the past 5 years, but this is before the term anti-hero was a thing, because Snake isn't the hero. He's a thief. He's doing this mission against his will. He's not the good guy by any means.
I know. We just see hints of humanity. That doesn't that doesn't really change
the explosive capsules. That's the only reason he's sticking around, is because he's on the ticking clock and he has to for his own survival.
He's not doing it for good reasons. He's doing it because he has no fucking choice.
That's it.
I think the only thing that really humanizes him when it gets a little bit near the end, but I will get to that when we do. And it's just filling in on the mission and how they're going to infiltrate the place, and that is get the Gulf fire in and try and find the World Trade Center to land on, because it's a place they actually infiltrate. So they've done this before. They have done this before, and
back in the World Trade Center.
Yeah. And the guys are probably not out alive either, I'm guessing.
I haven't got a screenshot of it because after what happened to Blue Collar, and he had to do that training course.
Yes, exactly. Dodgy. Yeah, no, this is like pre-Bond. They show his trinkets, his samurai swords, the ninja stars, and everything. Yep, he's doing his Bond suit up right now.
Yeah, and he's got this watch, which obviously it's setting up a lot of stuff as well, which will come into play for the movie, which is what many filmmakers seem to forget to do: little setups for little payoffs.
I would have believed that Tony Kaye would have gone into it with the right intentions in the earlier 2000s, but I'm kind of still glad it didn't happen.
Yeah,
did you see that, Luke?
I know, and this kind of shows
had a chance to offer to make a remake in the early 2000s. It down.
Sorry, what about?
Have a look at chat.
Look in chat. All right, let's have a look. Because the screenshot is Tony Kaye. Yeah, he was offered a chance to do a remake and turned it down. Glad they declined. Yeah, you're right too, mate. This is why you are smarter than most directors. Some would have taken the fucking money and done it and done a shit job. But fuck it, it's funny.
That's really interesting. That's really a really interesting thing to have heard there.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us as well.
Yeah.
Stick around longer if you want.
From LA, which did not do well. I
know, it's because like we said before, it's John Carpenter just kind of throwing everything in and not really reeling it a little bit.
Going mainstream, just going fuck it. I'm just going to jump the shark. I just don't care.
Yeah,
it's possible to make it.
One thing we hear you guys will say product at a time. It's like, boy, there was just in the 80s, just wearing a leather coat. It's just like something you don't see like much nowadays. But just Kurt Russell,
that was really nice.
Yeah,
he lost his 80s sort of ragged leather jacket and wore Matrix style leather trench coat, which surprisingly dates it more than this. I don't know
about that. Just the whole the 80s leather coat is just something that that's his cape,
I know, and this kind of shows how Carnarvon Lee Van Cleef's character here as well. He's saying they're injecting him with some antivirals to stop him from getting diseases.
Definitely,
Yeah, but really, they're just
you're not going to tell him. You can literally send him out there without telling him.
I know, because if you're going to fuck because they need to tell him anyway. Because if he doesn't know about it, he can fly off to Canada and die straight away, and your mission's fucked. So you got to tell him.
That's why they do that.
From a narrative point of view, this is a very clever scene because it introduces the ticking clock, and the ticking clock is
so it makes you scared for him.
Which is a great narrative device to add sort of urgency.
Yeah. I mean,
obviously, to end the story.
It's exactly that. I mean, what you've done is you've actually given right from the off the stakes, and you don't have to keep the only way you need to keep reinforcing the stakes is every time you see a clock, every time you see the countdown. That's where the stakes are reinforced every time. I thought it was really smart because you don't have to keep you don't have to keep chucking exposition at the audience to try and remind them of the stakes. All you have to do is see the ticking clock. Brilliant. Just brilliant.
But too, like, right now we are only 20 minutes into the film, and look, we've established a world, the characters. I mean, so much damn packed in 20 fucking minutes, man. Like, man,
that's a really good point. Yeah,
it's weird because the characters are kind of simple, but I think the actors make them a bit more complex. Because I think they was sort of allowed to bring little tidbits to flesh the characters out a bit more, as long as it didn't interrupt the plot.
Well, I would say, Luke, nowadays, most characters I would debate are simple. It's just that you give them good situations, like the Punisher. I watched 2 seasons of the Punisher. Yeah. Frank Castle's not a complicated character by any means, but
he's a traumatized vet who's lost his family.
Even Daredevil. I mean, Matt Murdock wrestles with his Christian beliefs of like killing or not killing, but like most characters are not really complex. I mean, the Terminator films, there's nothing complex about Terminator.
I find one of the problems with a lot of characters these days is they overcomplicate.
Exactly, and it's not too much over exploit. Like I said, like this film, 20 minutes in a different genre, this would be like an hour and a half in to get to this fucking point.
It would, yeah. But I don't like the device as well. I mean, that is lethal. These little capsules that are protected by some heat cores that are slowly dissolving. That'll take 24 hours to dissolve. And once they do, they explode and fucking burst open his neck and bleed.
That says
fucking horrifying. That's a horrifying death to have.
23 to 22 hours and 59 minutes. So
This confused the hell out of me last night. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention properly, but they've set the time clock for 23 hours.
Yes.
But then he says that the diplomatic meeting, whatever the hell it is, the convention or whatever the hell the president is in 22 hours.
Yeah, probably so they can have another hour getting him ready for the actual meeting.
Maybe to take an hour, interesting. But yeah, it just threw me at the time. I was like, hang on. But yeah, no, the ticking clock is brilliant because all the way through it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If when Snake gets captured or whatever, which he does, it's not a case of, oh my God, he might get killed, they might kill him. It's a case of he won't make it out in time to disable the bomb.
Every time he takes a step, he ends up having to go 10 steps back.
It's funny.
And that's the threat. That's, it sets up the stakes really, really well.
I think what's quite interesting is that this is why the ticking clock is exactly why John Carpenter compared this to High Noon. Because of the ticking clock.
Yeah. Well, Die Hard was kind of inspired by High Noon as well, because you had this sort of like reluctant heroes kind of got no choice but to be the guy that takes on the evil that's going to hurt the innocent. So I like that.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, but in terms of High Noon, I mean, the clock is present all the time. So every time we see the clock, we know again in High Noon what the stakes are. Every time we see the clock, we know what's going to happen, the inevitability of it, and it's exactly the same with this. I think it's incredibly smart. It's simple, but it's smart because it's simple.
Yeah, and even this doctor kind of gets a little bit of a character trait as well. He's kind of more of a moral backbone compared to Van Cleef's character.
Or Cronenberg, Dr. Cronenberg.
Yeah, he's the one that's saying, so you're going to tell him then? You tell him are you going to tell him what you have just ordered me to do to him? And he does seem a bit sympathetic to fucking Snake as well. He probably hates the people he's working with as well, but he has no choice because it's probably one of the only few jobs that's hiring people of his kind.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys. I can't be the only person thinking this. This was pre-Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, and I just love it. Like,
because
get out of here.
That's the whole premise of Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller puts these guys that they're all criminals, they're all replaceable, and she puts this friggin' bomb, this ticking timer on their neck whenever she wants to, and just like little tidbits. Like you wonder again how many storylines that later on are getting inspired by this movie.
I know.
It's
set a lot. It's set the benchmark for a lot. It really has.
Uncountable action heroes based off of Snake Plissken. I think he didn't break a mold. He made a new mold in this film. I think this gave us a whole, as you say, the idea of the anti-hero didn't really exist before this. You know, this was the first film to give you that kind of character who doesn't really care about anything apart from himself, but somehow still ends up kind of doing the right thing, I guess. You know, and he has moments later where he does show some humanity that you might not have expected from these parts in the film. And that's one of the greatest characters to do is that nuance of somebody doing the right thing, maybe not for the right reason.
Yeah, I think we certainly got that in Dirty Harry and Death Wish, which is two other inspirations for the character. That anti-hero. So you can see that there are these different inspirations that have all been injected in there. But again, it's like it's the way Tarantino does things. He's criticized, I think, particularly unfairly by reusing and rejigging other ideas. But that's exactly what everybody else does. But he does it well, and John Carpenter does it well. So what?
Yeah,
I'm
if you're going to steal from the best, don't you? As long as you can try and do something that's very passionate and genuine, then people kind of jump on it. They don't.
That should be better.
Why Russell is fucking on Thunderbolts? Yeah. Oh yeah, because he's like the Captain America, the white incel Captain America. That Snowflake seems to fucking think he's the villain, but I don't know. I just saw a fucking traumatized soldier who kind of went off the edge.
US agent, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's Thunderbolts is just gonna be it's Marvel's answer to Suicide Squad. That's
Thunderbolts just kind of looks like dumb fun, and at this point, I'm like, you know what, I'll take dumb fun.
Yeah, that's
fine.
It's good because I don't want to see Marvel do well again, but
we all do.
I'm just kind of burnt out by it now.
But I'm burnt out by it trying to act like it's profound or world changing or anything like that. Just entertain. That's all you got to do. Just fucking entertain.
Yeah.
And I'm good. And Thunderbolt looks like it might have a chance of doing that. I don't mind Florence Pugh's Yelena or whatever her name is. She's pretty good. Yeah. It's got Sebastian Stan's
he's a good actor.
Bucky back in it. These are characters that we know, and because we know those characters, maybe it'll be right. Maybe a complete shit show. I don't know. I have to wait and see, but it'd have to go something to be worse than Brave New World, to be honest.
So we'll move on from Thunderbolts then, and hopefully it will be not a shit show anyway. But so now Lee Van Cleef has told him that if you get the president back, we will burn out the cause and you'll be safe. It's like, what if I'm a little late? No more president, no more summit, no more Snake Plissken. So he's fucked. So now he's got to take this like Gulf fire, which kind of looks like these gliders.
I'm just saying, after you inject this poor bastard, it's been 3 fucking hours. You're still prepping him. Come on, man, we're out of time.
It's like, by the way, your life is literally ticking away by the minute, by the second.
The past 3 hours, been sitting around gassing up the fucking plane. Come on, you dicks. Let's go. Shit.
Yeah, obviously it's a nice little cheat as well, where you just got the black background. He doesn't really have to have any shots of him sat in a really tight spot.
The red backlighting coming through his hair is really effective. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's good visual choices. I mean, this is very visual.
That's here, Nick.
Yeah, Nick's always welcome.
He's always there to make things worse.
But we love you for it, man. We love you for it. So he's going around the sea, but then he decides, listen, I need to fucking land this thing right now. And once again, we've got the miniature shots while we got the other set of miniatures with the reflective tape, and it's fucking great to look at. Yeah, it does. It's very old school, but I still like it. I'm a big fan of the old school.
Well, it's smart too to have this glider because this glider wouldn't be making noise. That's the point. He's gliding into
exactly.
it.
Yes, it's unpowered.
Yep.
Yeah, because it doesn't really have much of like that kind of like engine that planes have, does it?
It's got no engine. That's the whole idea. It's
Yeah.
why they used them in World War II as well.
Yeah, so they're very useful, very stealthy. So yeah, but I think landing on top of a building might be one hell of a thing to fucking do. I'm no experience on landing planes, but
not for Snake Plissken.
Yeah, but
no, exactly. Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, those pilots who have to make those fucking crash landings, just try and find a nice high building to land it on. You'd be fine. You'd have to find ground all the time.
And then right there to the miniature, you can tell it's like a toy, but still the miniature, the way the plane lands, it's because it doesn't look like cheap CG. It's just a cool shot, man.
Yeah, I think miniature work looks so much better than CG.
Oh, definitely
in the right environment.
Because it's physically fucking there. That's why.
And I know why they use CG is because you can do all the way around angles and things like that. Because any miniature shot has to be mounted. You have to have an armature on the bottom or on the top or at the back or some things. You can't do these sweeping shots, but it can look so much better if it's competent, well done miniature work. I think
it is.
It helps. It's in the dark here, you know.
Yeah, because it has
a lot of things, but it's really well done. And as I say, I don't think I think this is some of the best dark cinematography that I've seen. The lighting in this film is so good. The way that it lights up just exactly what needs to be lit up is just brilliant.
Yeah, there's something about films that are mostly set during the nighttime that adds this kind of brooding atmosphere to at least to the visuals as well.
The strange thing about that, I mean, although it's intentional to keep it sort of dark and the shadows and all of that, the main reason for the style of lighting was really to disguise the fact that they were actually in St. Louis and not in New York.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But it kind of works as well.
It does work. It works incredibly.
It really works. It really works. It's done so well. I mean, I went back and watched Dark Star like the other week, and even in that, there's some really good work going on with the lighting.
Yeah.
I mean, that film is rough in many other ways.
Yeah.
Many other ways. It's a very strange film, but some of the lighting work in it is just incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I agree with that.
The biggest thing with Luke watching 28 Days Later, you guys are across the pond. That trying to film these scenes in London was so fucking hard. So in America, trying to film in New York City like during the daytime, and no matter what decade you are, that's impossible, guys. It's just
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. I mean, that shot, with the sort of desolated and empty London.
Yeah.
When he wakes up and he's he's through the streets and everything. That was actually the morning after 9/11.
Yeah, that's what Luke was saying. And like you said, figure that film's got like what 10, 15 seconds is all you get. Like you can't film an entire film around a desolated London. It's not. It's impossible.
It's hard around London because it's mostly never fucking asleep.
Yeah, that's how New York City is.
Never.
And if they shot that film in Hull at 3:00 in the morning, they could probably have a bit more time getting some shots of Jim walking around and won't have to worry about having to block off traffic, everything, because it's really quiet around that time.
Well, like we said,
Snake is.
I mean, to be fair, London at 4:00 in the morning is basically a zombie movie anyway. So
yeah, especially around town anyway. But yeah, Snake has landed on the World Trade Center, but it's nearly hanging off, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to.
Takes the poor bastard forever to get downstairs as well. By the time he gets down to the bottom onto the street and looks at his thing, Jesus, man!
No, it's like he's constantly getting shit thrown at him, isn't he? You can't really catch a break. But that's what we like about this character, even though he's kind of in it because he has to. You still have some sympathy for him. He's desperate. He's vulnerable now. He's on death's door unless he does what he's told.
I'm listening to it now, Luke. Something to it with the 80s music had that synthesized like wah, wah, as he's walking through the streets, and just the music is so cool. It's like Inside Man said, John Carpenter, man, fucking the dude could just the soundtracks.
Yeah,
I just love the main riff to this film. It's so not what you would expect from this action film, but it works really well.
I definitely have plenty of films I've watched with headphones on. There's plenty of movies that if you watch with headphones on, sometimes, man, the score can make a movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
About
The
it,
score is the soul of the
it
movie.
more brooding. It makes it more.
Imagine
brooding.
Star Wars without the score; it's just not going to work.
True.
But I like the fact that it's mostly quiet as well. There's not always a lot of music playing. It just lets you soak in the fucking hellhole that we're surrounded in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's post-apocalyptic, isn't it? In nature, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds like Inside Man is dangerously close to liking this 80s.
I didn't say that I dislike all 80s films, but most of the 80s films. This is one of the very few that I like. So there.
It's like me and drinking. There's some days I don't drink. It's very far and few between. But
No, but fucking up, this really does look like they didn't need to actually make this look like a shithole. It actually was already before they even started filming.
Yeah.
There's no set dressing on this at all. They just filmed it. John Carpenter's going, it's perfect.
Modern day Chicago.
Bits of broken plane there and there, and we're done.
I think it was quite interesting. You know, they said that it was still a kind of a commuter area, so people used to commute through this area to get to work every morning. So that around about 6 o'clock in the evening, they'd have a couple of trucks turn up with like scrap and junk and everything, and just scatter it around the streets. Oil drums and that kind of thing. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, they'd have to collect it all up again, put it all in the 2 trucks, drive it all out, and clean the streets. And for everybody, first thing in the morning. And all they did really was hose the streets down, because hose down streets always look great.
And there actually was some like real fucking gangs around these streets as well.
Yeah,
walking, but because of the way he looked, they decided not to fuck with him. So
remember, that was I was watching They Live. There's like, man, there's a bunch of homeless guys. We're just gonna use actual homeless guys and give them like $5 for dinner. Like, fuck it, they're already here.
Almost seems real. It is real.
Exactly.
But this shows just what a resourceful guy he is and how smart he is, because he's going to the crash site to try and see if he can find anything while also leading him to use the transmitter as well, and hopefully he can find his location. But it turns out finding his location isn't the easiest thing ever, as we found out later. And I love this as well. It adds a little bit of layers to the whole world that he's in, because the convicts are putting on little shows in this fucking abandoned theatre as well.
It affects a bit of world building, as I say. It's borderline post-apocalyptic in many ways.
I take it as no matter what, go to your local cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
It adds personality as well. It adds a bit of it's funny to watch as well. Like all these fucking crazy convicts that have probably been in this hellhole way too long are crazy enough to do this shit. But
you're bored, dude. It's like,
yeah, because even crazies need fucking entertainment. It's just guys in drag as well. I love it. It feels like something that might have been used in the Fallout games as well. Whenever you come across these weird colors.
Yes. The whole film felt quite Fallout to me in many ways, to be honest.
Look at the sidekick. Look how happy he is too. Like,
I know the cabbie. I love fucking Ernest Borgnine. I love this actor. He's so good. He's just his face. He's a total coward, but he's so likable. He just makes this guy really likable.
That took me to a liquor store. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I did actually meet him on the Dirty Dozen, the next mission. So
really,
yeah.
What was it like? Was he actually a decent bloke?
Very nice. Yeah.
He seemed he might
lovely
have been
man. Lovely man.
Yeah, I liked his little role in fucking Simpsons as well. He looks like he was having fun on that, and I've liked a lot of his movies. I liked him in The Wild Bunch. I liked him in The Dirty Dozen. The first one,
the first one, yeah.
That's Inside Man. No, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm gonna whip out. I knew this one actor. Like, all right, you fucking dick.
Yeah, and he lived till he was about 90 as well. That was so he had good innings, this guy.
Yeah, good innings, as they say.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say in America when somebody's just lived a long time? You don't give a fuck about cricket. You don't say good innings. What do you say?
Hi.
He had a good high.
Depends on where you're from.
So very eloquent.
Yeah, but it seems like everyone has heard about Snake Plissken. He's got a reputation because the cabbie knows who he is.
Everybody comes into knows him, don't they? It's just like, literally every single person is aware of who he is. A legend.
Yeah, and they always think he's dead. And it's like, you don't know why. Why do they think he's dead?
That's mentioned a lot in this movie.
It's a good
I
lad.
thought you were dead.
Yeah.
That was another little homage to a John Wayne movie, wasn't it? I can't remember which movie it was. So whenever the John Wayne character turns up and they said, "Oh yeah, I heard you were dead," so that's where all that came from.
Yeah, I love that as well, and it kind of gives more reason for the cabbie to try and help him out later, because he seems to be a big fan of him. So yeah, he must have done some cool shit back in the fucking day to make him liked by him.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, there's enough backstory without explaining, because we just know that Snake got caught robbing a bank, basically. Federal Reserves. But the point is, during this film, if everybody knows how iconic this guy was, then what else was he doing that we don't know about?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's just everybody seems to know him, so he's got some level of notoriety at the very least.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Nix about this being more Fallout than the TV show, because
especially Fallout 3.
Weird, dark sense of humor as well, which kind of seems very similar. So yeah, good point there, man. Digital,
I've got big Fallout vibes.
Digital pollution. All right, if you're new to the chat, welcome. If you've been here before and I don't remember, then welcome back. And yeah, so this is where he catches this fucking woman that's getting fucking raped as well, and he doesn't really do anything as well. It's like she's all strung out and they're taking advantage of her, and any other hero would have jumped in and taken these guys out, but not him. It's like
she
probably deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, she was probably doing an OnlyFans thing. Who knows? She's trying to top Bonnie Blue's record.
Yeah, it's for content.
Yeah, and yeah, it kind of almost establishes some of the tricks that these people play as well. Like, this guy's like, "Hey, nice boots. Let me shine up for you." Like, he's trying to distract him as well, so the other guys can get the jump on him, but it doesn't work. He fucking knocks him out. Once again, because we haven't really seen Pliskin do anything totally badass just yet, and this is to show that he can handle himself in a tight situation. Phrasing. And this is where apparently he finds the president, and this fucking guy. It's like, "Sure, I'm the president. The moment I woke up with this on, I knew I'm the president." And he's obviously fucking drunk and off, or mental or on drugs, because it's like, "I woke up with this, just like a miracle." And now it's like he's fucked his he's trying to talk his way back out of it with Lee Van Cleef is saying,
so he's like, President gone, I'm getting out of here, and he's like, no.
Yeah, you fucking take that Goldfire, I will blow it out the air. He's like, "You get the president now." And he has this line, "Bit of human compassion." So
he's the reluctant hero, isn't he?
And he's in a really desperate situation now, because the president really is gone, and probably assumed that he's dead, because in situations like this, people usually end up being dead.
At the very least, could be absolutely anywhere. At this stage, he's back to square one. He's got to start the trail from cold, as it were.
I always hate freaking Luke's American accent, how spot on it is. Kind of bothers me.
Yeah, the wife just sent a nice picture of a nice whiskey jar and a lot of glasses, and nice. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm just telling her, yes, I approve. She knows me so well. But yeah, look at this. I mean, this looks fantastic. It looks like the worst place it can be. It looks like an actual fucking estate, council estate in England. It really does. You can film this in England and it wouldn't look any different.
That's depressing.
That's Slough, isn't it?
Yeah. Most of the northern areas anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of areas in fucking England that really do look like this. Yeah, even random chairs for sitting around, even random chairs on the street for you to sit down in case you've had a nice long walk, which is nice of them.
I remember I was in Glasgow for work once, and a fucking wash machine got launched out of a 30-floor fucking window and tumbled down to the ground below and exploded like 30 foot away. It's absolutely fucking mental. And there was like they have metal grating on the windows as well, like chicken wire almost kind of thing, but like a thick chicken wire. And it gone through that, so somebody had really given it some. Yeah,
the amount of fucking front gardens, front yards I walk by that I've like furniture just dumped in them, and I've been there for fucking months.
Yeah, totally. Fly tipping, all sorts of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing some more crazy shit as well. We've got these like sewer people coming out. Crazies, I think they're called. And yeah, he's really fucking like on edge as well. It's like, wait, are they coming for me? But no, they totally leave him alone. And then he comes by Season Hubley, who's really spotting the fucking punk rock mullet right here. And I almost thought she was going to be like a love interest here, but she gets killed off straight away.
Yeah, it almost goes like Alien style, doesn't she?
Yeah,
through the floor.
Well, also, it's being stressed out that he can't find this guy, but he is on a fucking ticking time clock here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we get a little bit more exposition about the fucking world that's in here. Like she got stuck here. She's with a gang called the Tex, but she got stuck in this area with the skulls. The skulls, that's it.
Yeah.
And she thinks he's a cop as well who's infiltrated, and he's like, I'm not a cop, I'm an asshole.
That's right. But, are you a cop? Does it look like a fucking cop to you?
Yeah. And she's the only person who's probably not trying to kill him, so he's asking to see if she might know something, because she says she's been there for a good long while and she's staying there overnight and then gonna move in the morning. But yeah, she obviously but she tries to get him to get him to take her with him.
Like Snake, I've been raped so many times the past year.
Yeah.
It's like, please get me out of here.
Yeah. None of it was good either. None of it was good.
I enjoyed it once.
But she's fucking killed off straight away. It's like, okay, because she was pretty, I think she was a bit of a thing back in the 70s and 80s, wasn't she? I don't think I've ever seen anything with Susan Hubley. Yeah. Inside man, you older than me, you probably know more than I do.
I, to be honest with you, mate, I don't really know. I don't know much about her, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the skulls fucking take her down, and he has to fucking escape. It's you've got a bit of action as well. We've had some very slow moments of him running around, and we've got to sort of like keep the energy going here as well. It does add a bit of tension as well. It makes him look like someone who's good at getting out of a situation when it gets heated. He's adaptable. He's resourceful. And he makes a nice little neat fucking hole in this wall with the Uzi, and I'm pretty sure I might have run out of a full fucking clip there. But thankfully, fucking the cabbie just comes out of nowhere. It's just conveniently just comes out in the spot where he needs him to be rescued. But I kind of let it go. It's very funny. And I love how Cabbie just goes off fanboying him, saying, "Oh boy, wait till people hear."
A bit of foreshadowing there as well with the tape there.
Yeah, and it sets up something as well for Snake to switch the tape that the president has as well, which is
you're a pretty big legend where even a cab driver knows who the fuck you are. Damn.
Yeah.
I was just saying every fucking knows who Snake Plissken is for some reason.
I know.
This is pre John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the fact he's fanboying over him while getting these Molotov cocktails ready as well. It's like
as you do.
Yeah,
just another Tuesday.
Casual about it and all. He's real casual about it.
Right, no problem. I'm about to set a bunch of guys on fire.
That's the other thing. Like, when they were outside, I'm pretty sure that Herc said that they'd adapted the cars to run from steam.
That's right. Yes.
But in this, we're all talking about gasoline. So again, I was just a little bit like, "Whoa, okay." Like maybe like wrong information or something, but I don't know if it's something else that made it into the final edit that they couldn't make work or something like that, because they're definitely all talking about getting gas here rather than being anything steam.
Yeah, I mean, but there are so many different communities there, aren't there?
Yeah, true.
Sort of gangs.
We're only seeing a very little bit. I don't know how Manhattan's pretty big, isn't it?
It does establish there's some areas where the gang crime is worse and some areas that are at too bad. So, because I think the cabbie mentioned it later when he takes him to meet Brain. He says this is a much nicer area. So yeah, there's some areas that are 10 times fucking worse than and other areas that are safer. So And the camera ends up being useful as well because he seems to be the guy that knows all the information. And Snake interrogates him, asking him, where's the president? And he's like, the Duke's got him. Everybody knows the Duke's got him. Well, take me to him. He's like, nobody sees the Duke. You see the Duke once, you're dead. And once again, we've got more information as well. We're wondering who the fuck this Duke guy is. So he sounds like a mean fucker. If this is a guy you only see once and then you're dead, then Snake has got his fucking hands cut.
Look at his eyes.
What's the fucking term again? Sorry.
That was like me in prison showers. Yeah.
What, with the hand on your shoulder, yeah?
Yeah. Got a gun back of my head. Look at him.
But he also shows that he also tells him that the only person who can get him there is the brain, and wondering, who the fuck is the brain then? It's like, and I love how he has his affections for his cab as well. It's like, I usually don't leave her all alone, but here for you. And he has to really whack the door with his fucking shoe as well because of how thick the door is.
Yeah.
So it's probably for security reasons as well. He's probably had it reinforced to be tougher.
It's funny how many video games like this where Snake has an objective. He's going through like mini bosses to the final boss, and now it's like the Duke.
This is quite literally this whole sequence here, from the outside of the building to all the way through to the inside, is quite literally a building out of Fallout 3. I swear to God, it's the same.
Ayo.
I'm gonna raise one for those tits.
Oh yeah, Adrian Barbeau back in
no bra.
Absolutely stonking pair of Norks. Bravo.
Yeah, she had it fucking going on back in the day. And
all the way through the film as well. All the way
what
through
makes her even better is that she also plays Catwoman in the Batman animated series. So I'm like, God, I love this woman more now. I love this woman more now. She's awesome. And she's a cool kick-ass character. She's once again, she's a very simple character, but she's still awesome, and she does kind of get a cool little fucking moment where she gets to really flex her acting chops a bit.
Sure. I care about her acting.
I know, because first meeting, she's just some guy that the Duke gave to make him happy, and that's it. But she seems very
sure
loyal.
if the audition blew, to be honest. He walked in and went, yep.
That's what I'm
saying. But you do find out later that they do have more of a relationship than that. She's not just this woman who's there to shag him and keep him happy. No, she's
she's almost like a mole, isn't she? She's kind of.
I think she's
actually his muscle, isn't she? She's his.
Yeah, she's become his muscle as well, and I think they actually have grown to care for each other in a way. Maybe probably has started professional and blossomed into something more. Because as we found out at the end when Brain gets fucking blown up, and it's Harry Dean Stanton, who was every single
somehow looking younger than he did in Alien. I don't know how he managed that.
Yeah, he was in nearly every single movie from the 60s to the 90s. He always had to pop up in everything, but
great.
But he was always good though. He always seemed to be very welcome in movies. He must have been a really liked actor to, not just as an actor but as a person to get so much work like this, even though it wasn't always the biggest parts.
Apparently, he liked a bit of a smoke.
Oh yeah. This guy looks like he likes to fucking indulge in his vices occasionally, like smoking, a bit of drinking. He's not a very young-looking guy, even though he's younger here. But he never. I think Drinker said it best. Has he always looked fucking old? Yeah, 3 out of 10 tits. Prove me wrong. Zooming on them to clearly decide. Well,
whether or not you got more screenshots of Yabos is whether or not this gets likes. Luke, I just hope you know.
Yeah, for zooming, it'll probably get more views. Yes, Melvin Deeply. Yes, come on, it's a Snake Plissken stream. I'm so glad you fucking made it, especially with that avatar you're well known for using, unless it is your actual photograph, in which case I apologise. And yeah, he is a great character actor. He's like I said, he's been on fucking nearly everything. Every time I watch an old movie, he's in it.
There's loads and loads of stuff. I don't know what his IMDb says.
Off the internet. Yeah, you're doing a very good job of it as well. Gavin Blackburn, thanks for joining us. Once again, everyone on here is fucking welcome. Keep the chat going, whatever. Add little bits of trivia about this movie, your favourite moments, your favourite quotes, your favourite characters, whatever, 207
acting credits. Not bad.
I know, absolute fucking legend. And he lived till his 90s as well. He's yeah. I'm guessing this is a guy who didn't give a fuck how much he smoked, how much he drank. He just lived his life and lived fucking long, which is more than anyone could ask for. But we found out that this is where we found out that the brain is
too much of an arsehole and just getting asked back.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that he doesn't know this is Harold until he meets him as well. It's like, I'm guessing the brain gave himself that fucking name, or maybe the Duke did. I don't know. Because he seems really pissed off when he calls him Harold. He's like,
he's not happy with Harold at all.
Yeah, don't call me Harold. And I love that delivery. But yeah, it looks like the brain is kind of is not on his nice list because fucking he tried to betray him once as well and nearly left him for fucking dead. But he's the only person that can get him to fucking brain, and he tells him you have to get me to the brain because they're going to bomb this whole fucking place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not something you don't. The president has something that they want, and you need to get to me. Otherwise, life's going to be fucking hell from you here. And obviously, he doesn't believe him. He thinks he's bluffing, but eventually, he does convince him to take him to the brain.
Because
look, he even figures out that he's not lying either about it because he's obviously a smart guy. He always seems to be working an angle the more you see him as the film goes on. So they've got to try and find the Duke, but then they start seeing these cars coming across, and with Cabby just fucking legs it. He just jumps in his cabs and fucks off. Once again, Fallout has got to have fucking been inspired by this because look, you got these fucking.
Of course, yeah.
This
the chandeliers in the cars are just magnificent.
It's so pointless, but it's so fucking funny to watch. Dumb. It's like it just adds a layer of character to the movie.
That was a weird serendipitous move on behalf of the guys who was like production design, art director, because apparently they'd actually asked for like disco balls or crystal balls as they called them in the cars.
Yeah,
the guy who was doing the cars, he kind of mistook the whole kind of crystal thing for crystal chandeliers. So, you know, when they turned up on the set with the car with the crystal chandeliers, it was like, that's not what I asked for, but that's a stroke of genius.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
I can see the Duke fucking being the kind of person saying, I want chandeliers on my motherfucking car. I don't care. Put no fucking chandeliers on my car. I got a fever. And the only remedy is more chandeliers on my motherfucking car.
It's like, sir, it doesn't make any sense, and shoots a guy. Next.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't question the Duke.
Kind of reminds me of the car in there's a blaxploitation movie I think it's called Tangerine Man. I think it's called Tangerine Man. Reminds me of the car in that. So that's worth looking out for.
I won't be surprised. I mean, it does take homage to a lot of movies like exploitation, everything like that as well. So now with the Duke going inside the Brain's house, it's because he's after these plans, isn't he? I think it's for the bridge that he had on his wall.
The bridge. It's the mine layout for the bridge.
Yeah, so I think the Duke was sort of planning something, and their Brain was helping him because he's the Brain. He's a smart guy. He's the smart guy that the Duke needs. So we've got Snake having to steal the car from these guys as well, and I just love this as well. He just sort of knocks the guy out, goes in, waits for the guy to come, and then just fucking knocks him out as well, and gets everyone in the cab and ready to drive off. And you got that real cool John Carpenter score just going there. Do 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 do. I love it. So now they've got to make it across Broadway. The Brain seems to know the shortcuts as well, like the Duke never takes. So yeah, it gives us a good incentive for them to get there quickly before the Duke does. And then we found out Broadway is like one of the worst fucking places ever. Everyone's like fucking just out for blood on anyone who crosses those streets because look, fucking hell. Yeah, what's wrong with Broadway? You see that severed head. Brilliant. You get the idea straight away. And yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, these guys are just not fucking stopping as well. They are just going right at them. And we see Adrian Barbeau get to do a bit of kick-ass shooting. They're trying to get the fuck out of there. He crashes through this big fucking pile-up of cars, and they're making their way to the subway station. And I think this was in an area that was actually bought by John Carpenter, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I know there was something about I think he and some people bought a section of the bridge from New York, and then once the film was finished, they sold it back as well for the exact amount that they paid for, something like that. I mean, I have to check the trivia again. I might be wrong on there.
That's interesting.
But once again, Brain is using his intellect to sort of distract him as well. He's making up some kind of fucking bullshit story. He seems to be really good at doing that as well. It's trying to make some story to sort of make the people question.
Yeah, you get like the double cross type thing, don't you?
Yeah, because you don't know if he really is going to be helping Snake or if he's going to turn his back on him. Which leads Snake to now sneak into the fucking place and try and rescue the president, but yeah, it takes one guy down and he gets wounded doing it. The guy throws a knife into his leg, but he manages to throw like a fucking
on the wrist.
Yeah,
of course, exactly. Because why not?
But now you got him injured as well, which is really going to hinder his chances a little bit more.
And it does. It's really cool. It's not one of those things that he just shakes off. This does slow him down.
It's like they're throwing everything at him to make him even more desperate and more vulnerable. You know, it's sort of like it gives the climax more tension as well. I'm like, shit, he's wounded now.
You really do get the feeling all the way throughout the film that he is up against it. You know, it's this
against all odds,
one man against many. You know, aspects of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and there's Donald Pleasance probably using all the shit that he felt when he was a POW. He's like rattling, he's shaking. You almost still feel a bit sorry for him a little bit here, despite the fact he's a bit of a prick. Yeah, Hawk said me, gotta move fast. He's like, you're damn right, I'm gonna move fast. And he shouts, fucking shout out louder, you dickhead. But of course, he gets fucking ambushed as well, and even though he fights him off, it's no use. He's fucking outnumbered.
The music here is funny, so the music is just like dun, 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 as he's punching guys, But yeah, but you could say two things. Number one, he is
injured. It's a very unconventional action score. It really is.
I know, but I'm pretty sure fucking Beverly Hills Cop 2, Harold Faltermeyer, if I'm pronouncing his name right, kind of ripped this off a little bit for Beverly Hills Cop 2. Like da 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 da. You agree?
We guys were saying like number one.
Man, it was all about the synths.
Well,
another Fallout reference.
He is injured, but like it's boring. If Snake would just take on 30 guys with not even breaking a sweat, it's boring as fuck. You know?
Exactly. It makes him a lot more human, which is really good.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, he is.
And even his physique, he's not like super ripped or anything. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit of build to him, but he's
normal muscular. He's not steroid juiced up muscular.
No, he's like, maybe even slightly out of shape kind of thing.
Yeah, versus like, if
this is what you could see if it was an ex-military guy gone to not keeping himself fit.
If this was Marvel, he'd be a 4'9", 105-pound woman dropping 30 guys with breaking a sweat.
Oh, Shira Haas, man, I'll tell you.
You know what? I think I might
got screenshots of her next to people, and she's literally like 2 heads shorter. It's fucking ridiculous. It looks like something out of Spy Kids.
So the original. I think you mentioned that before, didn't you? In Sandman.
Yeah, we did. Melvin.
Yeah, Charles Bronson.
Yep. Because
is Pliskin.
Yeah, because the stuff in Death Wish, wasn't it? That was it, Death Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, he walks out with music.
See it, but I'm happy they went with Kurt. Yeah, I mean, I think Bronson would have been good if they did this film in the 60s, but seems to have. Kurt Russell was still a little bit lesser known. He wasn't this big powerhouse actor he is today. He was still kind of.
Also, you need somebody who does that kind of cool bit a little bit, and I don't know that Bronson would do that. He was always a little bit more sort of serious kind of.
Yeah.
I can't see him doing that role. I can't see him doing it like Kurt did. I think Kurt.
Yeah, even though Russell is playing it really serious, you could tell he's still very fun to watch. He still has a sense of humor about it. Because Kurt Russell seems like a very fucking easygoing guy in real life.
Well, it's quite a humorous film in many. Some absurd bits in the film. You know, like later where he nails the guy literally in the back of the head with the nailed back.
Yeah,
that's played almost as a comedic moment and stuff like that. You know, so.
It still makes me laugh, even though it's kind of in a dark way. It does make me laugh. I don't know why. There's something.
I know it's fucking funny, man. There's no two ways about it. It's funny as well.
He's
from the guy's face. Slumps over on the ropes.
But I think it kind of boils down to exactly what Carpenter had said before. You know, am I going to be directing the actor, or is the actor going to be directing me? And that, I can imagine, must be the worst nightmare for any director. Having an actor telling them what to do, dictating what they want.
Where the ego's too big.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand.
Like Blake Lively.
I can kind of.
I'm glad you said it. I was about to say it.
Edward Norton as well, because Tony Kaye's had fucking complaints about Edward Norton when he tried to edit his fucking movie instead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of get, you know, an actor from an actor's point of view that, you know, they may be that into the role that they think, you know, I'm not sure whether my character's going to say this, and could I say it this way, but at least, you know, have some kind of collaboration with the director. Don't try to override the director. You know, this is the person that's steering the ship.
And that's the thing is, it's a battle of egos, isn't it? And you need a director with a big ego to be able to control a actor with a big ego.
And that's always the hard balance, isn't it? Because that was the issue with Mark Hamill said to Rian Johnson, "Hey, Luke Skywalker wouldn't be saying or doing this shit. Oh, screw you, Mark. I know better. No, you don't."
Yeah.
It's like,
I used to. This is why I used to like him as well. He seemed like someone who knew what he was fucking talking about. Then he starts doing the whole TDS crap, and Luke Skywalker is gay. And
he's got terminal TDS. I think it's actually going to fucking kill him. Like literally, because he's drinking heavily. You can tell.
Oh no!
Whatever that stage show was, where he fucking dropped his trousers.
I know. I put me right off because he's like my favorite Joker as well. He seems to know and understand that characters and. Oh man, yeah, fucking TDS has really ruined a lot of fucking actors. Well, they've allowed it to ruin them, I should say. But yeah, and this is where it comes face to face with the Duke and
the Duke.
Yeah, and he's got a little eye twitch as well. Which I think Isaac Hayes might have added to his character because
back in the days we had diversity, guys.
Yeah, and he's a good villain as well. He's not an overly complex villain. He doesn't have a tragic backstory. He's
getting plenty of shots of that cleavage in there. Look, I can see this getting lots of likes by the end.
Oh
yeah.
Like the stream if you haven't.
Yeah, and Brain kind of fucking tells him about the fucking twin he sent in there as well. The Gulf. The Gulf fighter thing.
I think I heard too. The guy's he's grabbing the air and just like twisting it, like, dude, oh fuck, man, like right into his thigh.
I know. Yeah, because he's badass, but he still has to take the fucking hits. You still have to be scared for him as well, and it's another reason why we like John McClane as well, because he's a cool kick-ass guy, but at the same time he's still human. He's still scared of getting killed. He's still. Well,
at the end of the day, he is only a cop. And I know it's like only.
Yeah, he's an ordinary guy, isn't he? Caught in an extreme.
Yeah, it is your average Joe kind of dude. It's not a military badass type thing. And even here, as I say, he's a lieutenant. He's done missions and stuff like that, and everybody seems to know who he is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not like your Arnold Schwarzenegger who runs in there and fucking guns down 20 people.
Yeah.
And then blows up some more of missile launchers and stuff like that. It's a very different type of. Type of hero.
And it's amazing too. Like everyone praised Die Hard, which obviously Bruce Willis for breaking the action trope of the big guys. But Kurt Russell, you could say this predated Die Hard.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think this is one of the most memorable reluctant heroes. I really do, and I think this was an archetype, or maybe like almost like a holotype for so many films going forward that just hadn't thought to do this.
This
kind of angle.
Yeah.
So much.
It's cool that they show the clock again. So right now we have 12 hours left before the bomb or his timer goes.
Yeah, he's running out of time.
Yeah, the closer it comes to the end, the more tension ramps up, and the more you got to keep throwing at him as well to ramp that tension up even more. It's incredible. Yeah, so he's been knocked out now, and it's looking like they may have to resort to do the last resorts. But
good shot. Now I think that's actually New York City.
Yes, that is.
Definitely.
Yeah, and now they've lost track of Snake Plissken as well, so it's looking like things have gotten even more desperate now for them. It's like
what I said with these guys, it's like these guys could send the military, they could send bomb squads. They're trying to avoid that shit because the president's safety.
Yeah, because if they get any attention, the president fucking dies, and they can't take that chance. Even though it's looking like they'll probably end up killing him anyway.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not necessarily because you've got the vice president ready to take over. It's the tape.
Yeah, exactly. They just need the tape. That's it. Because we see a scene later where
because although we don't get given a lot of information about the geopolitical makeup of the world, we do understand that things are far from stable.
His hair right there, my God, what a haircut! Holy shit, that's
crazy.
That's so Blanca from Street Fighter.
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it?
Doing Super Saiyan.
Fighter, so you know.
Yeah, I think Brain also mentions that the president has a tape that they want as well, and that's why
it's some kind of recorded speech or something.
Yeah, and plus this is where they do leave the briefcase out for the army to get as well, but without the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the Duke is punishing the president for trying to escape as well. So yeah, you tried to escape my capture. This is the fucking lesson I teach you. So he's basically using him as target practice. And the guy's a dick, but come on, this is fucking cruel.
It is. It's so awesome to watch. I'm not sure why.
I know it shows just what a fucking terrifying bastard the Duke is as well. Yeah. What a total psycho this guy is. He just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, right here, seeing Kuros with his shirt off, he's just like he's not like nowhere near out of shape.
No, he's not. He's not like
this. He's not.
He's just normal. He's just not. He just looks like a guy who just works out, but does it without the juice, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the reason why Hemsworth and Cavill and are all and Richmond. Sorry, Alan.
Yeah, Richson.
That's it. Yeah, he's because the juice and a lot.
Well, everyone knows it because if this was nowadays, fucking Snake Plissken would be fucking built like The Rock.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. I mean, they'd have him dehydrated all the time to show muscle definition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is much more realistic. Like he hasn't been in the military for fucking years. He hasn't been working out day after day after day. He's just, he remembers his skills and he's maybe slightly out of shape. So.
I do also like that this is the Brain kind of working an angle as well because he obviously wants to get the fuck out of there as well. So he's trying to use whatever play he can. He's telling Duke about the time limit on the president as well, so that something's going down so he can probably find a way of getting him out without the Duke knowing about it. And this is once again he's just humiliating him. It's
like a good shot. The president's beer belly.
Yeah, who am I? It's like, hey, number one. It's a good little setup for a really fucking. Great well, doesn't it?
Because he is effectively being tortured in this scene, so
Oh yeah, and once again, Donald Pleasance is drawing on his experience as a POW for the scene, and he does. He's really acting this part fucking well.
It's a palpable feeling, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is where they found the tape as well after they shoot the briefcase. And I just love this. I just love how Romeo just acts. He's so fucking flamboyant.
Yeah, dude, it's just that haircut. I'm obsessed with that haircut. A Super Saiyan haircut, man. It's epic.
I know. He's kind of got that punk rocker thing going, isn't he? Yeah. So, and he's got his teeth filed. I don't know if his teeth was like that in real life. If he really did file them to look sharp, or if he had fake ones in it.
Just got Michael Biehn.
Yeah. But it does add a layer of insanity to the whole thing, which, once again, it's another reason why it's just so memorable. There's just little moments like this that stick in your mind. Yeah, and this is where they send the briefcase back, and they still need to get the fucking president out of there now, because if they had that tape, they'd probably leave the fucking president there to die, like you said. But I wonder why they were putting Snake into that ring. Was they trying to test him, see if they could have him as someone that could work?
Pure entertainment.
Oh, just that as well, probably. But yeah,
they're just bored. I honestly think they're just fucking bored.
Yeah, like a punishment as well. He tried to interfere. He tried to take my prisoner, so I'm at least putting him in this ring with this big belly bastard to fucking die. But yeah, now we're up to where Brain is trying to figure out how the fuck Snake got in, and he realizes, oh yeah, he probably had to use the fucking World Trade Center. That's the only conclusion he comes to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now he's found a way he knows where to find the vehicle to get off the island. So now all he has to do is get the president.
Crazy. They set it in 1997.
Yeah.
Without knowing that 4 years later the fucking World Trade Centers wouldn't be there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, isn't it? You know?
Uh-huh.
I never would have thought that in a million years.
Nobody did.
No.
Yeah, so now they know that Pliskin's fucking taken as well. Yeah.
Oh. Where's he at, boys?
Yeah, it's taking a while to. Yeah,
I mean,
it's very close to the match.
You know, it's kind of cheesy with something about having a snake. They'll call him Snake Plissken. There's a snake on his belly.
Yeah.
It's so on the nose and cheesy, but I'll forgive it because it's so sick. Really, you had to put a fucking snake.
Yes, thank you, Melvin Deeply. I was mentioning something earlier about something being reused in Blade Runner, and the model of the city. Yeah, thank you. I was wondering what was.
Yeah, it looks like he's been fucking captured by the village people.
So, sorry, the miniature of the city was reused.
Blade Runner.
Was it?
Melvin dropping knowledge.
You sure?
Yeah, because I mentioned it earlier. I did mention it earlier, and I was wondering which part of it was reused for Blade Runner. But yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Really? Well, I've never heard that before.
I know the Millennium Falcon's in Blade Runner.
Doug Trumbull did, and his team did all the miniature effects for Blade Runner, but these were done by Bob and Dennis Skotek.
He used the, I think it's just the hull of the Millennium Falcon as one of the buildings. You can see the weird smoke exhaust things on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I keep meaning to watch Soldier as well.
Dude.
I'm going to have to put it on my list tomorrow to watch.
If you haven't watched that,
Lawrence, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here.
Don't watch Soldier. That'll be on rewatch. I fucking love that movie. Oh, God, such a great film.
Yeah.
So sorry, can I just ask again? So what part of the miniature in Escape from New York was used in Blade Runner?
That's a Melvin said. I'll look it up. So.
Let's have a look at where is it? Have I passed it? Have I passed it in the chat? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, the model of the city was reused in Blade Runner.
Who says the model city for Escape from New York was repainted and reused for Blade Runner 1982.
Wow, nice one, Melvin.
I was kind of guessing that. So yeah,
because Escape from New York is our film. Nice.
After some actors get to a certain
Melvin, well done for that one. Yeah.
The studios won't allow them to do their own stunts. Insurance won't
allow it. It was used for the flyover as they head towards the Terrell building.
Right, okay.
The Terrell building is almost like that big pyramid, and it goes.
Yeah,
you get a flyover of the city as it goes. Maybe it was used there.
Yeah, cheers for that, Melvin. That's a great piece of knowledge and trivia there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some YouTube videos. I guarantee there's YouTube videos. Somebody's probably shown the shot for shot comparisons.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. The Millennium Falcon is on a YouTube video somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where I saw it, but you can see it was used.
That's why we got Melvin for, man. Dropping that knowledge.
Yes, Mystery Blade Runner was set in LA, but it's obviously sometimes when something is set in a city, they'll still use areas from different cities. You know, for some scenes, it's not really got
any landmarks. One bunch of buildings looks a lot like another bunch of buildings. To be honest, it's
because some areas in this movie isn't even shot in New York. So, but it's like it's a very shitty area with trash thrown over. I don't think anyone will notice the difference. It's because I've seen a few areas in England that are outside my city, but still look very similar to some streets I've been down. It's not really something that's unheard of. And yeah, I love this as well. This guy getting wheeled out. You don't know if he's dead or unconscious, but I think he's obviously dead. He's been fucking killed in the ring, and you know Snake is up to. You know Snake is in fucking danger here. You know he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Or is he?
Yeah. But I love it. It's like
at the moment, the concern for him is he's got like 6 hours left on his clock. That's the concern. It's not, it's not the case that he might die in the ring. It's the case that he might not get out of here in time to, that's the sword of Damocles that's dangling over his head. It's not the threat from this necessarily. It's the fact that he might not make it out in time.
Yeah, and this does seem very believable. This is what a bunch of crazy bastards in a fucking prison probably would do as well for entertainment. It's
totally. As I say, they're bored. That's why they acting in drag. That's why they're doing these fights. Yeah, and that's why they've got Zangief here.
Yeah, because the top dog is like the Roman emperor, isn't he? And he wants to see his minions fucking fight to the death in his little Colosseum. And and this guy was a bit of a fucking rough bastard when he was doing this scene with Kurt Russell, because even though he was pulling his punches, he was still kind of going a little bit rough on him, and eventually he had to sort of set him aside and say, "Calm down a little bit, mate. Calm down a little bit. I'm getting fucked up here, even though you're trying your best not to fuck me up."
Didn't he? Didn't he kick him in the bollocks to calm him down a little bit? I think he kicked him in the bollocks. And
people see guys like this dude, like, oh, this is some big fat guy or something, because used to seeing Hemsworth and these guys. But you tend to forget that, like, power men and anybody who follows sports, like some of the strongest guys in the world have a beer belly. Guys deadlift
one of the world's strongest men. These are really fucking big.
What's his name? Eddie Hall? Eddie Hall?
Yeah.
He's fucking he's like a barrel. It's not ripped necessarily.
Yeah, plus he was a real life wrestler as well, wasn't he? So
yes, he was.
He knew how to handle these scenes. He knew how to handle the falls, everything. The punches, the light punches, everything, the fake punches. How to make it look like he was getting punched, because it was.
From a physical standpoint, a guy like this, a guy built like that, I'd be more terrified of him than say like The Rock in like Black Adam. Because I know the raw power a dude like that was gonna hit you with.
Yeah, because these guys that fucking do all this working out to be the strongest men, they are fucking wide around the midsection, but it's a very solid big fucking belly though. It's not a big fucking doughy lump like those guys who wear those feminist t-shirts.
So let's go fight him. So
once again, the fucking brain is just making up any lie he can to get in there. And I love how Romeo is very skeptical and is like, he might have a cyanide pill in there. It's like, the Duke told me to come here. It's like, no, he didn't. He has a cyanide in there. Well, I'll tell the Duke that you didn't let me in. So then fucking Romeo's like, wait a minute, why does he need you to see the fucking president? But once again, Brainy is very good. He's very good at sort of like blagging his way into something, like anything unauthorized, talking his way into something. And you're seeing that visually from Harry Dean Stanton. We're not being told how smart he is. You are shown how smart he is as well. Yeah. Once again, he's fucking humiliated. They pull that fucking wig on him. It's like, oh man.
This is great.
Yeah, and I love that he distracts him a little bit as well, and
he's still wearing that shirt.
And it does show a little bit of a ruthless side to Brain as well. He's willing to do some fucking dirty work here, because as soon as Romeo goes up to him, he fucking stabs him, and she guns them all down like a fucking pro.
Look at that gun.
Pro, man.
Yeah. And I love that little gasp of air as he falls. He's like...
The guns have got a really weird sound in this film as well. It's not the standard gun sound that you would have.
That was back in the 80s, a whole
I totally buy her as a badass though. I fucking
Remember, strong female archetypes before modern storytelling.
We haven't been told how fucking strong or fucking great she is. We are showing it.
She just is. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. She's not girl bossed at any stage throughout this entire thing. She's just showed her worth, which is fine.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to do any kind of put downs to
male
character. Doesn't have to do any put downs to any male characters verbally.
No, because she's still
to make
kind of
look good.
Yeah, because Brady's still kind of calling the shots. Brady's still calling the shots here as well, and she's willing to go to hell and back with him. She's obviously loyal to him.
Yeah.
And obviously, she's going along with this because it means she gets to get the fuck out of this island as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just reading the chats. There's another connection with Kurt Russell and Blade Runner in the film Soldier. Anyone knew what they are? Yeah, I've been hearing it's kind of like some kind of loose sequel to Blade Runner, and it's another reason why I probably should watch it. I'm not sure if this is my favourite John Carpenter movie, but it's certainly up there. Yeah, I'd probably do like The Thing a bit better, but I don't know, it's kind of...
this would be top 5. It wouldn't be top 3. I don't think. It's around about number 4, I reckon. I would have to give it to The Thing first.
It's from the 80s, and we don't want to offend Inside Man's sensibilities.
Bloody 80s movies.
Well, to be fair, next week's film isn't an 80s film, but it's also not a good film, so, you know.
Yeah, tits. Yeah, Orc Baker, the wrestler, is his opponent.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, is he still alive or did he pass away? I don't know.
Well, Snake killed him, didn't he?
On IMDb, I can tell you.
Well, if someone wants to look it up, feel free, and I'll.
Yeah, I'm on IMDb now. 2 secs.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of beefcakes lose fights. Sure, you can lift a lot of weight, but can you take a punch? Yeah, fucking hell. I mean, so I used to do a bit of boxing. The one thing about throwing a punch is you got to learn how to fucking take it, because it's no use learning how to punch when you're crying like a fucking pussy after getting a jab in the fucking cheek. Shot NB's called. Yeah, I'll move on back on, and yeah, obviously
Baker died October 20th, 2014.
Oh man, yeah,
the age of 80.
Age of 80.
Wow.
Still a good long life then. Yeah, now they're getting in the way. Yeah.
Yes, 3 cheers for Andrew Bobo's tits. Fucking A.
Yeah, we get this off. Give me a second. Yeah, this is where Snake has seen that the guy is wearing that.
He's got
that bracelet that Hawk gave him earlier. You know, just in case he needs to. Anyway, move on. And he's got the sticks, and this is where he does try and get the upper hand on him by killing him. And Brain is obviously using him as the president as a way to get out. I rescue the president. Then I bring him the tape, blah, blah, blah. You know, I can get some kind of amnesty or pardon. And it's a pretty... let's get to the fight where he hits him. Yep, right in the fucking head as well.
Love that expression in his face.
I know, it is darkly funny. It is very funny in a fucking dark way, though. It's just the way it just goes silent. The way the crowd goes silent once the thing hits him in the head.
Oh, great.
I could see people with modern audiences, they would bitch about the choreography, but again, 1981 guys, we weren't, these guys,
but what you're forgetting is that modern audiences can go fuck themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but like if this was, people would look back at this film like the choreography isn't that like polished.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
it's not supposed to be. It's like Kurt Russell wasn't spending 6 months training to do this scene. It's just raw. They have freaking baseball bats and fucking garbage can lids.
I'm kind of glad that Tony didn't do a remake, because it's not meant to be a sophisticated modern film. It is of its time, and that's why it works.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing about that fight, especially with the baseball bat with the nails in, apparently the guy, the wrestler, was really worried about this scene, and had a very crudely rigged lump of wood behind his head that was stuck there. And Kurt Russell had to get it just right so the nails would go into this piece of wood.
Gotcha.
Oh wow,
that's nice. How crudely done it was,
which would never happen nowadays.
Which would never happen now. No.
The health and safety department would have a fit.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously the budget was low, so they couldn't get like insurance or anything for the stunts. So a lot of them got some of their own stuff as well, didn't they? So.
Oh no, that's a cool factoid, Melvin. Nice one.
Yeah, so read it again. Sorry, I just fucking put it up and I didn't even get a chance to read it. Yeah, there's a spinner vehicle from Blade Runner on the junk planet in Soldier. There's also mention of Shoulder of Orion and Tannhauser Gate.
He's on fire. Melvin's on fire.
This panel sucks. We got Melvin instead.
Yeah. Come on to a fucking stream one day, Melvin. I know you're probably mostly like the mod guy and that for a drinker, but
he's too good for us. Come on.
He's he is on fire. I just think that he's given me all of my takeaways from this stream. He's brilliant. No.
Sometimes you guys know us on the panel. Sometimes the chat is the best part of being on the stream.
Yeah, agreed.
A good chat complements a decent panel, like a good audience complements good panel.
We said that, not going to tangent. Sometimes, there's something about having 15, 20 people watching this versus some of these people have like 10,000 viewers. And you can't
the chat goes too quick. And it's just because whenever you get that many people in one place at once, the wanker quotient just goes up.
Plus, people start arguing too. Like,
I mean, fucking the amount of times we see on Drinker fucking slagging our friends off. All the new guys, it's
even Drinker's own chat's like, fuck this Drinker guy's a piece of shit. He's like, well, you guys are my chat, you assholes. He's like, well, my own chat turns on me half the time.
But I do like how, like I said, this is like a fucking Roman Colosseum here, isn't it? With the gladiators going to fight, because once he kills him,
look at that tattoo.
Like, stick.
That manly cobra.
Yeah, this is kind of like taking people back thousands of years now, isn't it? People have kind of gone back into the primal instincts of it.
Let's bring it back. Come on. That timer again, man. Hour and a half.
Timer, once again, ramping up the tension, like you said.
Sneaky bit of product placement there, maybe.
Yeah. There's probably still some kind of leftover Coca-Cola. And plus, they do sort of like do shipment drops in the island as well, don't they? Like they drop food.
Yeah, they give them food once a month, because they say at the start it's the end of the month and they're running out of food.
That's all you need.
That's why they've all gone a bit mental.
Start eating rats.
And the guy who saw what happened, he's like shouting at everyone, the president's gone, and everyone starts to vacate. And obviously they don't see Snake as some kind of threat, do they?
No.
They just kind of leave him alone.
He's still limping too, man. He's injured.
I know.
Yeah, it's the same all the way through the rest of the film. It affects him. It's really cool.
Yeah, so obviously that was sounded the alarm on the wrist bracelet now, so they know that Snake is still alive, and they're going to get ready to head to the gate just in case Snake has found the president. But I think Snake is obviously in a desperate situation now because the president's fucking gone. So
yeah,
he has probably predicted that Brain has figured out where the glider is. So yeah. Just go right where I landed, and
again. I mean, I'm assuming real quick, Luke. One's still back. That's got to be like a styrofoam plane, but it looks so cool, man. I don't know why. Like, look at that thing. It's just
I wonder if this was actually in the same. If the background was added in later, because that looks like I can see the little outline of the building there on that wing just here.
Yeah,
you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if that was added in, and some of the blue screen kind of like. Was a bit more transparent anyway.
Yeah. It's definitely a composite shot, 100% composite shot.
Yeah, obviously their plan to escape hasn't gone well because we've got these other guys fucking hacking at the safety.
Redskins, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
they're savages, Mr. President. You wouldn't get away with that shit these days.
I know. Yeah, but everyone's like fucking feral now. It's like kill or be killed. It's back to the Stone Age here in a way.
Yeah, as I say, it's practically post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. There was another majorly cut scene, wasn't there, with a tribe of Native Americans.
Yeah.
Bows and arrows and tomahawk.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
Which I guess because it would have been kind of funny because there's no reservations near New York City. Like it would have been kind of out of place. It's one if there was like local natives.
It wouldn't be real Native Americans. It would be just fucking white guys in Indian clothing just going in.
It would have been.
It makes sense as well. It would make sense.
I mean, there's some in New Jersey, but New York City isn't ripe with American Indians.
I mean, you have that kind of primitive element where you would have weapons that you can make. So there wouldn't be many guns or anything like that.
Although, having said that, they are prisoners, so they have been dropped in. They're not necessarily residents, are they?
No, they're not natives.
Yeah, and they're trying to escape now from the car, but it's all fucked, and and it's not working. And obviously, the president is a fucking money bastard as well. He's like,
look at that car, though.
Yeah, it's great.
That car's just a piece of shit.
But unfortunately, they're caught by the Duke, and the Duke is like, "You sneaky motherfucker." Nick gets the drop on him. He shoots that fucking tanker thing that blows steam into him, and they run off. And what a coincidence! The fucking cabbage just shows up right when he needs them. I mean, how did he know they'd be fucking there?
It just, as I'm watching with you, Luca, there was somebody that was in the trunk the entire time with a crossbow. Like, how long were you sitting in that trunk for?
Oh yeah, I missed that bit. Yes,
he's just waiting there, like.
Yeah, I'm still wondering how the fucking cabbie found on me. Have I missed something? I've watched this film loads of times, but I might have missed something there, though.
It's like every cabbie everywhere. They always know how to pick up a fare.
Yeah. Cabbies have a natural sixth
probably
sense.
Did hear the shot somewhere and probably did grab to what was happening to find out if Snake, because he probably guessed it might have been Snake, but he just had to go and make sure. But this is also where we found out how he gets the tape back, because he traded it in for his hat. So I was like, yeah.
Well, the thing is, on top of that, the cabbie just seems like the kind of guy who knows things.
Yeah. Like he knows all about the affairs of the Duke and any other gangs, but they kind of let him go because
what's going on.
He's like a guy that could fucking use occasionally when they need to.
Cabbies they're like barbers. Barbers are neutral. You don't fuck with the barber.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's like why in Moon Knight, one of Spectre, I think his name is, one of his other aliases, Jake, is a cabbie.
Yeah,
and literally just dresses up as a cabbie and just wanders around bars getting information off people.
Yeah, cabbies are a very big source of information.
Oh yeah, fucking hell! I mean, you want to learn something? Listen to a taxi driver talk non-stop about subjects. 23 minutes as well. Yeah, 23 minutes. He's got to fucking get there.
Yeah,
I miss cassettes. I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah,
I know. it goes to show that
I do and I don't.
You don't know it.
There's something about cassettes that I like, but sure as fuck isn't when they get.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying this.
It's just pencil in there and fucking no, that's bullshit. Man.
We all know well, everyone knows it. Like practically, yes, sitting down pressing CDs, but something's having a record, just sitting down, having a glass of wine, putting that record on, just listening to it. Like it's
it's a process.
Just think about cassettes when you get to the end, it just goes, and then if you had one of those auto things, it turned around the other side. And
it's like Inside Man said. Well. There's a process of sitting down enjoying something versus like now. I press one button, it's instant. There's a process of enjoying something.
Yeah. It's a very disposable thing, isn't it? Unfortunately, one of those things that happens to that is you start to value things less.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. I think what it
digital
is,
you've got my Steam library, you've got 80 odd fucking games in it. I've played about 7 of them.
Yeah. But it's something
you don't have a value to non-corporeal things, I suppose. No,
but it's that thing about physical media. I mean, it's not quite the same as it was with VHS, but there was something very ritualistic about getting a movie from your local video store, and it'd always be a Friday or Saturday night. You get some beers in, a few mates round, that kind of thing. All sit down, beering it up, and you'd watch a movie. And you put value on that movie, not just because it's a physical object, but because of the ritual that goes into watching movies. I think a very similar kind of ritual that we have when we go to the theaters, when we go to the cinema. It's an event. It becomes an event, but of course there's no event or ritualism in watching movies through streaming platforms or on our phones and everything. It's a matter of convenience, but which is why I do love physical media.
No, you're 100% right. Because like you said, there was something when I was a kid about going to on a Friday after most Americans had Monday through Friday weekends off, and Dad stopping at Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster Video and renting the newest VHS and eventually DVD, but still getting a pizza, getting dinner, just in the family sitting down and watching a movie. There's something ritualistic about that.
Yeah,
for sure. And the thing is, because like I don't know about you, but when me, my sister, my mum, dad, if they'd go out, they'd pick a movie.
Yeah.
My sister would get to pick a movie, and I'd get to pick a movie.
Yep.
And if I picked a shit movie, I picked a shit movie, you know. I had to put some forward.
But
it's not like when you're on a stream, you just go.
There was also something fun with that, where so sometimes guys, you go rent a movie, sometimes you pick a shit movie. That's how it was. But sometimes you pick a fucking 10 out of 10, man.
But you're stuck with it either way. It's just like, we watch this or nothing.
I kind of missed that as well. Just going into the shops and looking at the video covers while my mum was just looking for all the groceries and that, because grocery shopping did interest me back then. You know, let the fucking grown-ups do the boring stuff. So
there was definitely a value assigned to things those days that's been lost.
We're so old.
Yeah,
we really fucking up.
Once again, the brain is proving that he's a guy that's done his fucking homework. Well, kind of anyway, because he's probably tried scouting this whole area that's full of mines, but it looks like he has missed something, because he seems to get a lot right, but then he has that one little misstep and he fucking dies later on.
Yeah.
But the music that plays as well is pretty cool. It's like
you know, and right there too. Again, Luke, when the cab jumps over that 80 synth, you know what? Because Nadia's been doing Stranger Things. Stranger Things really fucking encompassed the whole like 80s, like the synth wave. Like, it's like, and listen to it now, because I'm listening to this while I talk to you guys, man. It's just something. Stranger Things really encapsulated the 80s.
Yeah, sadly, it made like Dungeons and Dragons popular for everybody, and now it's been ruined. But, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, the fucking snake obviously doesn't listen in time, and it fucking
it's fucking ridiculous, like the way the cab breaks in half. Like,
I know.
It's like what's it? Fucking something out of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or something like that. It's just ridiculous. But shot the bits there.
Look at that. She's wearing that. She is wearing that shirt.
Oh,
she's barely wearing it, but move either way.
That's how it should be worn.
So the cab is dead now. He's obviously been killed in the accident, and it's sad, man. I know you don't get to know this character that much, but come on, it's Edis Bognan, and he seems like a fucking cool guy, and you like him. He's got that dumb smile on him. So they're trying to make it across, and he's like, "I said jog right, asshole," and Bray just gets fucking blown up. It's like, damn, man. And I love the fucking expression on her face as well. She doesn't scream, saying,
nice picture. Look at that 80s hair.
I know.
Come on.
Yeah, I just wish that fucking bar was a little bit more lower, just sort of like
like Luke had his mouse around the nipple. Like,
this is not corrupting. This is not corrupting, okay? It's not fucking cancelled.
This is a family stream.
Is it? Shit.
Yeah, family of fucking horny degenerates.
Someone should have told me.
Oh yeah. Family full of fucking horny degenerates. But this is so good as well, because she doesn't go screaming. She just stands there blank-faced and says, brain. Just brain. Very emotional. Yeah. I thought that was great. That is shock. That is pure fucking shock right there. And Snake's like, and this is one of the few times where you do see a very human side of him. He's like, he's trying to get her out of there to survive. And not just because she has nice tits, because he probably does care about her a little bit. Because she has kind of helped him get to the president in a way, but maybe he does feel a little bit sympathetic towards her.
That's it. He knows he's in a ticking clock, and he'd probably like to stay and help her and everything, but at the same time, he knows that he really, 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 really doesn't have the time.
Yeah, I know.
You can see the kind of
he's checking his watch again, like, fuck, we gotta hurry up. Like, I'm about to die.
I do love this as well. I love this. She gives him this look, and he passes her the gun. It's like, once again, it's a little moment of humanity we didn't need to see in those first 10 minutes.
Again, and there's no dialogue, because nowadays it would be like, okay, here's the gun because you're a better shot than me. You're a better because I can't do this because you're better than me. That's the difference between.
Or she turned and go, I need to do this, whereas she's done all of that with a look.
It's pure revenge as well, isn't it? This is it's a kind of decent. This is her kind of almost sort of redemption arc as well.
Yep. She walks out there with the bouncing.
It's like the Predator moment with Dylan, isn't it? Between Dylan and Duke, which is like, you can't win this, Dylan, and then
Yeah, again, and the sound effect, I'm sure this gun sounds so bullshit, but it's just so cool hearing the whole like.
Yeah, the guns sound really off in this to me, but
but that's the 80s.
Why the fuck are you shooting from that far away? He's not going to do a damn thing. But
it sounds like she's shooting a fucking
range. I mean,
it sounds like a rocket launcher.
Bullets lose momentum. They do, but I don't think she fucking cares. She just wants to fucking go out like a boss.
Yep.
And obviously, this scene as well, where was originally fucking ambiguous because this scene where she's lying there with the blood all over it, that wasn't in the movie. They reshot this fucking after it wrapped up.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, she's actually lying on the floor in her fucking garage.
That's right. Yeah,
put some parts in.
Well, he did hit a woman, so he's a misogynist. So
another great bit of trivia there.
Yeah, so this is where he finds out that they've spotted 2 cars coming across the bridge, and it's obviously it might be Pliskin coming over with the president. He's hoping it is. So they get the army bar to assist on the other side, and they get
use the Duke's winch to give them
they give the
way up,
the fucking rope for the president to come up, and the Duke is following them, and Duke just fucking slaughters them, doesn't he, with the with Pliskin's Uzi. Or was it a Mac 10 with a silencer?
Well, it's a jerk.
I didn't think it was an
Uzi. The 80s, for some reason, the 80s loved Uzis. I don't know why.
Oh,
it was the gun of the 80s. No accuracy, but just like
definitely was. Yeah.
Cracking ways to teach, and she was the voice of the computer in the thing, yes. And obviously the Batman, the animated series, she's apart from Michelle Pfeiffer, she's my favorite.
Melvin again. Melvin spitting his facts out. God damn it, man.
My God.
My God, Melvin.
He's on fire.
I wasn't censoring those black bars. Blame the people who chose the fucking 16.9 ratio thing.
See, on my channel, we don't do things like that. Censor black bars.
Reviews, I thought, Critical does some real good reviews, and what a waste of fucking tits. Such a shame. Such a shame. Raise a glass to that unlucky prop guy that had to put all that blood on them tits. Well, it was like, it's like syrup.
It's how many takes he had to do, and he had to clean it off in between. That was the problem.
Yeah, because it was all getting stuck in her hair, everything. Because that's what it does. It's like syrup, isn't it? It's sugary, so it sticks.
Well, that's definitely corn syrup.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah. So the fact that it's syrup probably made it sexier. I don't know.
Like, sorry guys, I fucked up. We have to retake this again, sir. Chris, it's been 46 takes.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
46 takes with 38-second breaks in between.
And this is such a fucking cruel trick. The president just stops the fucking rope from going up, and probably just distract the joke so he can get his little revenge. And God, it's brilliant. I kind of did cheer on the president a little bit, even though, like you said before, he's an asshole. But he's like, no, the Duke, number one.
That's because the president's 2025. The president's racist. That's why.
Oh yeah. No, the Duke.
He's like, you're the Duke.
It's humiliation.
What's cool too, again, with practical effects versus digital, you see all the bullets spring out of the gun as he's shooting. It's just like the rainbow effect of the fucking bullets, man. It's cool as hell.
It is fucking brilliant. So so it looks like he's got.
As I say, he's still limping. It's great.
Yeah, and I love how the doctor gets shoved out the way by Lee Van Cleef as well. I mean, it's like, no, you're not gonna fucking save him just yet. All right, we want to make sure he's actually fucking come through.
Like, for Christ's sake, dude. I'm on a timer here, asshole.
I know. And I really love how even though he said it's okay, you're safe now, he still looks at the watch with some fucking nerves here as well. He really does. He's like, wait, what if it hasn't worked? What if I am still gonna fucking die? And it's like, as soon as it reaches 0, it's like, thank fuck for that.
It's a cliche. I'll forgive it. 1 second left to go.
Yeah. But when you save him, he's fucking mistrustful of him, and it's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
So the president's getting all made up now, ready for his big summit.
I mean, gotta have a nice clean shaven for you on camera.
And I like how he does kind of test the president as well. He's like,
how he asks,
how do you feel about that? And I think if the president did something that was very genuine and very sincere, he probably would have given the tape. But
there's something to say too, because he said, I will honor any request you want. What do you want? He goes, just a moment of your time. And because he could ask for $1 million, he could ask for a pardon, he could ask for anything. He just, I just want a moment of your time. That's it.
Yeah. He doesn't care about any of that. Whatever you might say about Snake, he's not a mercenary, really.
Yes.
You know, he's got, like so many great heroes and characters, he has got a code. He absolutely 100% has a code, and a moral center, even if it is slightly skewed, and you know, sort of an honourable side to him and everything. So yeah, I mean, it is the kind of question you would ask, you know, because
and very much a projection of John Carpenter as well.
Grain, the cabbie, and Maggie with her sensational boobs, you know.
Because those guys have kind of helped him, even though the brain did kind of backstab him a little bit and the cabbie ran out. But they've kind of been.
I'm still not entirely sure if the whole thing was a double cross type thing, and he knew. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if it was all planned in advance, because the film quite intelligently doesn't make it explicit one way or the other. It leaves the viewer to speculate. It could be something they agreed in advance, like, you will pretend to sell me out to allow me to get, you know, to a position where, or you to get to a position where you can do this and do this and do this kind of thing. So I guess you just don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of sort of like, he's asking the president this question just to see if there is some kind of humanity in him, and then maybe he should give him the tip. But as soon as he answers that question, like saying, "Oh yeah, their sacrifice is honored," he just gives this fucking half-ass fucking fake.
The political, isn't it? It's the political answer.
Yeah, the political fucking fake virtue. So,
but I really think that you know, this really is John Carpenter projecting his own political stance on, you know, on what the kind of you know, the kind of questions that he would ask a president and the kind of reactions that he knows that he would get in these sorts of circumstances.
Well, could it be said that it's the same kind of thing about Vietnam?
That's good.
I think Mr. E mentioned that about you know, that feeling of the betrayal from their own government that they dared to fucking serve and protect.
Exactly. You know, what's the line from the government that sent all those soldiers to die?
Well, the very people, betrayal from the people they fought and died for, because when they came back from Vietnam, you had fucking hippies spitting on them, calling them fucking
they weren't treated as heroes. But I think it's just that it was almost like kind of like a senseless war. So maybe that perspective of it.
I think also part of the inspiration for the making of this film as well, whilst they were making it, was John Carpenter has said that the Iran hostage crisis was in full swing and completely fucked up by the Carter administration.
Okay.
So you know that was kind of part of it as well. I mean, that was, you guys wouldn't remember any of that, but I mean, you'll know from the history books and everything. But it was a pretty big fuck up.
Don't believe it. Don't believe a word in it. It's a lie.
That's why you're not on camera, isn't it? It's because you've got his posters behind you on the wall.
Yeah, that is propaganda.
That's not a fucking denial there.
It's like that. It's Snake. The payoff, like, Snake, can you kill me? Now he's like, yeah, call me Pliskin. in the beginning of the film, he's like, call me Snake.
I don't think Hawk is kind of respects Snake a little bit, though, because he fucking forced him in a situation, but he did come through one day. He's like, you know what, we make a hell of a team. Why don't you work for me? And Snake's not interested in that shit. He's not a government busybody. He hates this guy.
Yeah, as I say, they don't like each other. They have a mutual respect, but there's no like there.
But also, he does recognize that Snake is effective. I mean, Snake is a tool for what he needs to get done.
And I love how he asks as well, like, so you're going to kill me now? And he's like, I'm too tired. Maybe later.
Yeah, I love that line. He's just like, I just can't be fucked.
Fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah. And I really love how earlier...
Pliskin.
Yeah, I love how earlier he said, call me Snake, when he was trying to sort of like get on his good side as well, to try and see if he can get out of his what's the term? His imprisonment anyway.
Yep.
But because he said the name's Pliskin, that means I am not your fucking friend. Only my friends call me Yeah. Not even saying it without explaining it.
It's ma'am.
He wants you to call him Pliskin. He fucking hates you. And I just love that little character moment. He's a simple, mysterious Lorna brother, but it's one of those things that gives him some kind of layers.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, and this is where the president does his grandstanding. It's like,
I can't believe they wouldn't check that tape first.
I know.
I mean, this is U.S. government. Trust me. U.S. government's incompetent. Trust me.
Yeah, but it shows how arrogant he is as well. Is yes,
yeah.
And he plays the tape, and it's just the fucking look on his face as that tune starts going.
I would prefer like the whole like snake.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do like it's just him looking humiliated. And Snake rips up the tape and walks off.
Walks with it like a fucking boss.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck the well. The well can go to fucking hell, and I love it. It's kind of nihilistic, but it's so badass as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. He
doesn't just throw the tape away or anything like that. He actually pulls the guts
stuff,
out of it, and then
that's him. That's him. Make a fucking exit, man. Just walks away.
And that was Escape from New York, and God, it's so fucking nuts, but I love it. There's still a charm to it, even like nearly 45 years later after its release.
Don't remind me, dude. It came out when I was born.
That's crazy, man.
I was 2 when this came out.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh.
I'm not going to tell you how old I was when this came out.
He was listening to notes.
Incidentally, it's actually my birthday on Sunday.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be your birthday when we do the Shield then.
It is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Happy 90th birthday.
Thank you, mate.
It's a good innings.
Are you sure you're Nazi or you are not immortal? Pretend you're
well, there can be only one.
I'm going to have to do that one day. I know Toxic already did it earlier, so I might give it a little bit of time first, because that is another fucking great cheesy movie where
it's a great 80s movie. That I think. One of my favorite 80s movies. Because you know how much I love 80s movies.
I was going to say it's an awful lot of 80s movies that you seem to quite like.
I do like. No, that's right. I do like some 80s movies, but I just think it was the worst period for movie making, just because there happens to be a few scattered in there that just happen to be classics.
There was a hell of a lot of direct-to-video stuff going on in the 80s.
There was, but some of the direct-to-video stuff was actually the best stuff.
You're not wrong.
Particularly the Charles.
There are some great B movies. There's some great movies, because the thing is, like, it depends what you judge like being a good movie on. I don't necessarily take being a boo movie to be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there can still be some merit in a B movie. It's how it was handled, how it went about it, what the integrity behind the movie is, all that kind of stuff.
I have to ask, because
being a boo movie doesn't mean it's shit. Some of the greatest movies I've ever seen have been B movies.
No, you guys.
And B isn't for boobs, so
we all know how the industry has changed. But okay, so Escape from New York, looking up right now, the budget was $6 million, the box office was 25. So technically speaking, that is 4 times the budget. Now nowadays, that would be considered a pretty good win, because if you had a budget of 200 million and your film did 800, that's a pretty successful win. So I would say, comparatively to 2025, this movie was a box office success. I mean, 25 million nowadays seems kind of low, but also this was 1981. So
but the thing is, it's not about how much it costs to make. It's about what the ratio is between the cost to make and the amount it takes.
Also, back then, we all know this was back in this $25 million box office doesn't factor in VHS sales.
Nope,
right.
not at all.
Yeah,
and there would have been less international sales back then and everything as well. And the thing is, this is where films need to get back to. Films need to get back to costing a lot less.
Yeah. So I would say that
way they can make a very reasonable profit to make the money back. What they need, enough what they need while still making a profit.
Got to come. There is so much blow in Hollywood at the moment.
I don't know whether. I mean, I tend to think now, whenever you see these really hyperinflated budgets, that this is there's kind of they like to publicize the budgets that they have as some kind of boastability, if there is such a word.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's almost like each studio, they feel like they have to have this pissing contest with every other studio.
Yep.
We spent 360 million on this 9-episode TV show.
You're right.
We spent, you know, 600 million on this new superhero movie. Yeah, but we spent, and it's this kind of back and forth. And I just wonder whether we actually know the real amount that's being spent.
Oh, very rarely.
Or whether
very
it's,
rarely. They've
whether
reported Captain America 4 as 180 million. It's at least double that. At least double that.
But I tend to think that they over egg the pudding slightly. That they like to publicize exactly, you know, that, or certainly they used to. You know, it was like, you know, we have to tell everybody that this cost us 350 million or 280 million.
Yeah.
Or you know 190 million.
A lot of them think it's a mark of quality, don't they?
Yeah,
you've spent this much on it, so therefore it must be amazing.
That's right. It's no badge of honor to be spending this kind of money and ending up with absolute dross.
It's fucking criminal, in my opinion. In all honesty,
well,
they turn around, it's like, yeah, the Acolyte cost, what was it, like 230 million? Is like, what?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully,
where's the money laundering investigation? Jesus Christ!
Thankfully, I've never seen it, and
you're very
I have
fortunate.
no intention to do so, and I have no intention of seeing any superhero movies. I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen any of the Marvel movies, and they just don't interest me whatsoever. And the best movies come from independent filmmakers. And this is the thing. One of the things about the 80s is that the studio movies of the 80s, for the most part, were absolute garbage. And it's the independent movies of the 80s that were the best things that came out of the 80s.
Yeah.
And the foreign pictures of the 80s that were the best pictures in the 80s. The studio movies, they were just churning them out, and it was they almost got back to an old style studio system, especially with 20th Century Fox and Touchstone at the time. They were signing actors. Each studio was signing actors to you know, a 4 or 5 picture deal, as they used to in the golden age of Hollywood. But that didn't last too long. You know, there was, I think there was Bette Midler, Richard Dreyfuss was one of them. What's his name? Roy Scheider was another one.
Yeah.
There was a whole raft of these actors. Nick Nolte was another one. Yeah. So you know, and they had to do these movies. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, they were. I thought for the most part they were really, really bad.
Well, I did want to ask you guys. I mean, people always say, like, you know, whatever, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, whatever, etc. So looking at, okay, right now Rotten Tomatoes, which has 50,000 ratings, give this film a 77%, and we have IMDb gives this film a 7 out of 10. Now, do you guys think that? So for the whole panel, do you think 7 out of 10 is that too high, too low? What's your overall assessment for a film like this?
I'd go a bit higher, maybe 8.5.
I would say that this film is not for everybody, and that's why it's got a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
because you're going to have people
you
who
kind of got to be into
high.
the campy ridiculousnof something.
Yeah, keep it on that screen. No, go back.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
And use that as the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Use that as the thumbnail, and you've got 1 million views right there. Anyway, like I was saying, I think that this is a film that some people will mark high and some people will mark low, and you just end up with that aggregate 7 out of 10. For IMDb, I think that's a pretty good score, to be honest. I would go higher. I would give this an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Like,
I mean,
not quite a 9. I'd give it an 8, I think. But that's the thing about a lot of these 80s films. Like, I always wonder, because I don't have any kids or anything, but I always wonder, like, if Gen Z watches this, what would they think? Would they like it? I mean, I don't think we've got any particularly young people in the chat or anything, but what would Gen Z think of this? Would they get bored? Would it just not be
that's an interesting point.
For them? Would they be required to do a bit too much thinking? Maybe
I think that's a really interesting point, and I think this is why we have to look at these movies, not just 80s movies, 70s movies, 60s movies, 50s, 40s, 30s movies, as products of their time. You know, it was a point that you had made earlier on, Al. to say that this is a product of its time is exactly right. This is a product of the 80s. It looks like it's a product of the 80s, but I love this movie. It means something to me, and it does something for me. To be honest with you,
this screenshot in particular, Inside Man, yeah.
This particular shot, yeah, but I think it's a combination of this is one of those perfect storm movies. Everything comes together so well. With the casting of Kurt Russell, I think is just I think he's one of the coolest actors I think that's ever lived. I think he's a really great actor, and he's definitely a director's actor. He's the kind of actor that every director just adores and loves working with, because he knows his business. He knows what to do on set. He knows how to act. He shows a high level of decorum and respect for everybody on set. Especially the director. But this is one of those perfect storm movies where so many great things and so many great people came together in this one tiny little, condensed box of a movie. And I happen to really love it. I adore this movie. For me, I couldn't ever give this anything less than a 10, because it means a lot to me. It means a lot.
Nice.
Even though you don't like 80s movies.
That's right. I don't like some 80s movies. As I said, some 80s movies I don't like. In particular, studio 80s movies.
I think this is a movie that any aspiring filmmaker should watch. That's what I think.
I agree.
I think it's the kind of film that should be taught in film school.
Oh my God. I think I have a feeling that it is, actually. I do have a feeling that it is.
Yeah. And people would say like no matter if this film was to you a 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, the cultural impact it has is is way more than average films. It said, even we mentioned Metal Gear Solid, I can pull up right now too. The director of Metal Gear Solid said that he made Solid Snake after Snake Plissken.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Metal Gear Solid franchise is a whole franchise in itself because of this film. And how many references do we have to this day? And that's the premise we've said, guys. Like, this film is over 40 years old, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, so,
and it's as I say, Snake Plissken's almost like an archetype for a new type of hero, or anti-hero, or reluctant hero, whatever you want to call him. But this film was. I certainly think it's an important film.
It is an important film,
definitely. Yeah.
See, I think when you have this character,
I'm so glad that Tony turned down the remake, and it's not been remade in general, because I do think that this just works where it is in its wheelhouse.
Give it time; they're going to do it, though.
Yeah, they probably will, and
they will.
Yeah, it's going to be all fucking hell. Snake
we live long enough to see what things we have ruined.
but this character is, you can tell where the influences lie with the creation of the character. Obviously, there's some of Kurt Russell in this. There's absolutely some of Kurt Russell in this. There are elements of spaghetti western Clint Eastwood.
Yes, evolution of that man with no name, kind of.
There are elements of Dirty Harry in this. There are elements of Paul Kersey in this from the Death Wish movies.
Yeah, well, in Big Trouble in Little China, he was more like John Wayne, wasn't he?
Yeah, and there are other characters involved in the creation of this character, and we could quite easily say that he is an archetype, yes, but it's an amalgam of other archetypes that's created a completely different character, which is fine and everything. However, what we have now is we almost have a blueprint of a type of character that's been used and used again in the form of Snake Plissken. Whether it be for video games, TV shows, or movies. This character has been used over and over again, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with people basing their characters on a character that I know and love. I'm perfectly fine with that. Don't lift him directly off the page, but use him as the inspiration for.
Well, this character's almost got to the stage where, he's been parodied more recently than anything else. It has almost got to that stage. There was a Far Cry expansion called Blood Dragon. And it's basically Snake Plissken, but they're kind of gently taking the piss out of him. Like, there's a bit where you start off the game, and then the voiceover woman was like, okay, this is what you need. This is your tutorial. This is what you need to do. Is I haven't got time for tutorials. So they're almost sending up that kind of 80s action movie. Because there's certainly something about this type of character that, unfortunately, with today's dreaded modern audience, that people would find quite problematic. He would be what people would consider to be toxic, masculinity, wrote large, which is a shame, because I think that takes away from some of the nuance that is in this character that just isn't necessarily expressed in great big flashing letters so that an idiot audience can see it. You have to read between the lines a little bit. Like Northern was saying, that moment at the end with Maggie, where he's leaving her, and you've got that little bit of humanity, but he doesn't suddenly break down and go, oh, I can't leave you. Oh no, but I must. There's none of that. It's just all conveyed in a look, and that wouldn't happen these days. I just don't think that, especially mainstream Hollywood, is talented enough or subtle enough.
I think because mainstream Hollywood they don't seem to be that fond of having a legacy per se, or a legacy audience. They're not interested in a legacy audience. What they're interested in, or so it seems, is a disposable product for a disposable audience, an audience that will leapfrog on to the next big thing. They don't want people to retain their interest in any product. Now, I need to ask this question to everybody here, and including anybody that's watching. Literally in the last, let's just say, I was going to say the last 5 years, but I'm going to say the last 10 years. Which movie in the last 10 years does anyone here think is going to be an absolute classic in another 20 years? And it's still going to be a movie that everybody really reveres and holds dear to their heart. What movie can you think of in the last any movie that's been made within the last 10 years, since 2015 until today?
So
what
the kind of movie that is regarded by the media as a classic? Or
No. What do you think? What do you think? What movie would you choose for yourself that's been made in the last 10 years that you think
in the last 10 years
would have people would have the same kind of reverence for as they do with this and The Thing and Alien and Predator and Back to the Future and the original Star Wars movies, and not just science fiction and fantasy. Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, King Kong, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, anything, Phantom of the Opera, Nosferatu. What movie do you think has been made in the last 10 years that people would have that kind of reverence for?
Yeah, that is a tough one, that. There's a lot of movies that we've watched recently that haven't really made that kind of impression on us. So. Yeah, it's very rare, very rare. I think
in the last 10 years, it's
probably
very
maybe Wind River. I don't know. It's the one film I've only just seen and thought was very fucking underrated. But and it seems to be well made. It's got well acted, got a good story, and but whether it'll be a classic in another 10 years, I don't know. But I hope it does.
You see, there's movies that I would say would be heavily regarded as a excellent film, perhaps from an intellectual or like almost a surrealist perspective. Things like The Lighthouse that I watched last night, but well regarded by a large group of people.
No, regarded by you. Something that
by me?
Yeah, something that by you personally.
What something that I personally would in the last 10 years.
Okay, let me just kind of redefine the parameters a little bit here, right? So something that's well regarded by you, that you think that you would be talking about in 10 to 20, in maybe 20, 30 years time, that you would still be talking about, that you hold dear for yourself, that you would literally watch that movie, because we all have the movies that we watch at least once a year, yes?
Yeah.
And we all have our own movies.
Pretty sure I won't be able to think of anything in the last 10 years, but I'm just having a quick Google.
Okay. In the last 20
that's
years.
2006. Fuck, that's depressing.
Okay. In the last 20 years.
2010.
Because I can tell you now, I can't think of any. And the reason I can't think of any is because I don't think I have any. There are my movie collection, because I do collect physical media. and I only collect physical media of films that mean something to me. My most modern film, which was the last one that actually means something to me, believe it or not, is Moon, and that was the last
Moon's
one.
a great film.
That's the last one.
But
I don't have.
I don't think a lot of people have watched at
But,
all.
but what I'm saying
it's
is
also outside of the 10 years. So.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, that was my last one. What I'm saying is that's
2009,
the last,
wasn't it? So The Lighthouse is very, very good. But The Lighthouse is also an absolute acquired taste.
Yeah, but I think
I did think The Lighthouse was I thought it was an amazing film, though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look, I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, not a film that I kind of think, yeah, that's a great film. Yeah, I really enjoyed that film.
But something that's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, not something that you've enjoyed in the last year, in the last few weeks, or anything like that. Give yourself a wider parameter. Give yourself a big block of time to choose from, and I guarantee you won't be able to find one movie within that block of time that is anything like Escape from New York, or anything like The Thing, or anything like The Empire Strikes Back.
Well, that's to a certain extent because everything's been done now, though. I mean, at the time, this was
but you can say that with every movie. Every movie has been done. Every theme has been done. It's all been done before. It's just been done in different ways.
Surely it's getting a lot more jaded. It's a lot harder to, it's a lot harder to the stage that I think some films that don't deserve it get accolades that they don't deserve.
But why is that? Why is that? The reason for that is that everything, well, I tell you what it is. It's because there is a standard. Everything seems to be a standard movie. There is a standard of a standard movie now. And the reason for that is because the studios, the executives within the studios, they don't like people who take chances. They like people who play it safe, and that's what they're after. But fortunately, the independent movie makers around the world are still thriving. They are still trying to get their wares out there, trying to get their work made. And thank God for it. These are the only people that are going to be saving movies and movie theaters and physical media. These are the only people that are doing it. Studios aren't doing it because they're not interested.
I think if you want to take a film that has changed cinema in a fundamental way, you might even have to go as far back as something like The Matrix, which is like
I can accept that. I can absolutely accept that. But
certainly within the last 10 years, you're right. I would struggle. I would really struggle to think of a film in the last 10 years that hasn't been retroactively damaged by a sequel, like something like The Joker or just Joker.
Yes.
Or B, isn't just something that's been regarded extremely highly because standards have dropped.
Yeah.
Dark City, another brilliant film, but again, way outside the 10 years, way outside. And I love that film.
You see, this movie, I would guarantee you that Escape from New York, in another 20 years, 30 years, people will still be talking about this movie. Absolutely guaranteed. Whether any of us, hopefully, fingers crossed, all of us are still going to be here to see that. I think it's less likely that I'm going to be, but I would guarantee that in 30 years' time, people will still be chatting on about this, will still be loving this movie, because it's just so well crafted. There's nothing wrong with it. It has, there are little bits and pieces that, technical issues that it has, as does every single movie that's ever been made. There are issues with Citizen Kane. There are issues with every movie. However, I just think this is a real piece of work by a director who is a real piece of work, starring an actor who is a real piece of work.
But at the same time, would you not say that The Thing would be remembered more than this film in 20 years? if someone was to say John Carpenter, name a film, it's going to be The Thing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure
I don't,
it's going to
you
be
know, I don't
Escape
doubt that. I
from New
don't,
York.
you know, I wouldn't, I wouldn't put any kind of movie by any director that is really, you know, a memorable or classic movie up against one another. You know, a lot of those movies that people revere, I may not necessarily like myself, but I can absolutely appreciate the fact that, you know, why people revere them so much.
I mean, I think there's a fakeness to a lot of movies that come out these days that will stop them from being regarded as classics.
Yeah.
Because those CGI effects do age, and when that's all you've got going for you in a movie,
yeah,
then it's going to be like The Emperor's New Clothes. You're going to look up, you're going to see through it, and you're going to be like, well, there's no substance. There's no substance to the film.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And but this is what we have, and it is a huge problem. And I just wish that you know, some. No, I'm not patronizing any audiences or anything like that, or any particular demographic who go to see movies, or rather watch movies at home or on their phone or on their computer or anything like that. But there is a problem with, I think, the way people watch movies really does reflect the way they value movies.
Well, I guess the thing is, back in that 1981, how many forms of entertainment did you have?
Yeah.
Gaming hadn't really happened. Certainly any kind of narrative exploration of story or immersive storytelling in gaming hadn't happened, because you were literally like pixels, like in Pong and stuff. You know, you had books, obviously, but books have been around for a long, long time, and hopefully will be around for a long time yet to come. And then you had movies, and that was it, unless you're looking at things like stage plays.
But of course, what I'm saying is that in terms of the streaming services, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, I can understand.
It's content, isn't it? It's just content.
It's like constant forgettable stuff on there. It's just streaming.
Yeah, I do understand why people watch streaming services, because it's convenience. You know, there is a convenience about it. However, it is just content. I mean, original, when, you know, there might be some decent stuff on there that you might have to pay for, or there might be a few little bits and pieces that are decent stuff that's dotted around. But you know, these services have really been forced upon us. They've been foisted upon us. They've, you know, they're giving us very, very little option in terms of how we view movies. You know, they're restricting the options more and more and more. And when I look at the content of Netflix, it really is just that. As I've mentioned on the Nielsen ratings a couple of times, I think that Netflix and the streaming services, they produce content. They don't produce movies. They produce content. They don't produce TV shows.
Yeah, it's just like stuff manufactured in a fucking factory, isn't it? It's just like
yes, it is. It's a cookie cutter kind of mass production thing, isn't it?
And I think
where generally anything that's bold or original, unfortunately, just tends to fail. That's the problem. And because of that, they're like, right, well, let's just go and make another Easter egg filled member berry sequel.
And this is why there are companies like Vinegar Syndrome and Shout Factory and Blue Underground and Radiance Films and 88 Films and Arrow that now come out with these amazing kind of restorations of these forgotten movies that are no longer around, you know, that we can't see on any platform whatsoever.
So, I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you think with the rise of AI that we're going to get a new renaissance of independent movies?
No.
Especially where you can now make a movie practically by yourself. So any auteur or artist out there could have their vision realized, or what would not, you know, normally they would be prohibited from doing so because of the costs involved. They now would be able to do it.
Okay, so, right. Here's the only way that I could really answer that, and that is that as soon as digital cameras became available to everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry thought that they were able to make a movie, right? So there was this thing known as the democratization of film. So everybody could make a movie. Well, They can't.
No,
They can't. They can point a camera and they can have people in front of the camera moving their arms and moving their lips and sounds coming out of their mouths. And they can position a camera in a certain direction and etc. And they can think that they can write a script and they can
Like
think
Neil
that they can make a movie like Neil Breen.
Yeah, because
exactly like Neil
obviously
Breen.
he knows how to fucking edit his movies. I've seen I saw one shot where
I'm not entirely convinced that Neil Breen isn't an AI, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think people will believe. See, the moment you have democratization of film is the moment the quality really goes downhill. Now that sounds really
like YouTube, isn't it? YouTube.
Look, I actually think that a lot of YouTubers, I genuinely see a lot of YouTubers, they make better content than some people that think that they are making a movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is about YouTube is, unfortunately, no matter how good, how pure, how curated and how insightful your content is, generally you're going to be drowned out by somebody who's doing a fucking prank on a tube station somewhere. Because
but
people
like you get
go to the lowest denominator, which is why people lap up. That's why 2 billion people, or not 2 billion. That's why Avatar makes 2 billion. You know, there's nothing to that film. It's a remake of Dances of Wolves with blue people.
But it's but as far as AI goes, there will be people that think that they can make a movie, and they can't. They really can't. The same way people with, a digital camera thought that they could make themselves a movie. The same way, people with, an iPhone 16 now think that they can make a movie. They can't. You have to, as I said before, you have to think differently. You have to be a different thinker. You have to be an alternate thinker.
You have to be very resourceful and adapt to the situation to find out how you can get this done with little hassle as possible.
It's to do with inspiration and perspiration, a combination of those two things, and a sprinkling of genius and dedication and everything. Which is why people like John Carpenter are so revered. Any
and there's very few people that are going to be able to take that mantle going forward. That's the problem. You've got maybe your Chris Nolans. And things like that, and even Chris Nolan's new film, apparently he's got it completely fucking wrong because Matt Damon's wearing armor that wasn't supposed to be invented for another 1,000 years or something.
Is this the Odysseus thing?
Yeah, exactly. Matt Damon's I don't know who's playing, whoever he's playing.
Well, he has redeemed himself by casting Elliot Page. So
God damn it.
See, I mean, I'm kind of all Chris Nolan out, to be honest with you. I think if all I'm seeing is look, I'm not taking anything away from the guy being a wonderfully imaginative director.
I've got a feeling this might be the film that does that to me. Honest with you.
He's a wonderfully imaginative director who
I liked Oppenheimer purely for the fact that he made the bomb.
I mean, he might switch genre. I kind of feel like I'm watching the same movie every time I watch a Christopher Nolan movie, and that's really unfortunate. That's a real shame. It's okay. Every director is going to have their individual style and everything, but
I mean, like John Carpenter, you can tell a John Carpenter film by looking at it. Whether you watch Dark Star, whether you watch The Thing, whether you watch The Fog, you can tell it's a John Carpenter movie more or less just from the lighting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly impressed with the kind of Christopher Nolan ostentation. This sort of ostentation is that he has to show in every movie. I have to. I've got this budget. I'm going to show everybody exactly what I can do on this huge budget that everybody's given me. I don't.
But he does generally push the art form forward each time, which other people aren't doing. It could be argued. I would say that he has a progressive sense of, I don't want to call it art, I don't want to sound pretentious, but a progressive sense of filmmaking as opposed to a regressive, iterative sense of filmmaking that other people have, where, as you say, they're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you don't get anything challenging.
Yeah, I mean, what we get from Christopher Nolan is really, I think it's like walking through an amusement arcade. You see the lights flashing on the, on the machines and everything, and you're walking through, and it's wow, look at that! That game looks really good, and wow, look at that! Oh, I can win my. It's like that. It's like flashing lights. I feel like I'm walking through a room of a corridor of flashing lights with a Christopher Nolan movie,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
looking at spectacles as I'm walking past them. But I don't see anything particularly impressive with somebody that's being given $400 million to produce,
Right, I see what you're
a
saying.
spectacular movie that, we're going to expect.
Mm.
I'd rather see somebody
I mean,
be
obviously,
given
he didn't always command those. I mean, Memento, if I remember correctly, had a pretty small budget.
Yes, it did. Yeah, very surprising.
And
Yeah.
that could maybe be argued to be. I see what you're saying. Like, you'd prefer him to have to try to
Yeah.
struggle to bring the
Yes,
best out of him,
yeah. That's
rather than have the easy path all
yeah.
the way through. I'm
Yeah,
so
that's
sorry.
right.
We've pretty much devoured this entire fucking stream, haven't we?
But it
The
is
movie debate with Critic Hal and
it,
Inside Man coming soon.
it kind of does turn all the way back round to John Carpenter in this movie, though. On limited resources, on limited funds and budget, on limits on everything. This film was pulled off with aplomb. He really pulled this movie off.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be around. As Blue said, and as Northern said, we're talking about this almost 45 years after this movie was made.
The past 5 years, I mean, hell, even the past 10 years, like we've always said, like my son and my grandkids generation, if I live that long, how many films will my son be talking about to his kids and grandkids generations down versus the fact that God damn it, Star Wars came out in 1977, and our friend Gooch and Can Only Say I watch all those people, they're still doing rewatches of a film that came out in 1977.
Yeah.
In 2025. And
I think that's important. I think this is where these YouTube channels, including this, included both of yours as well, Al and Blue. But when Northern always makes these suggestions of these movies, these kind of retro movies that we watch, they're great suggestions. It's important that we go back and we look at we have to look at the kind of filmmakers upon whose shoulders today's filmmakers stand. These are the giants.
I suppose one of the problems is if you was to do this on a modern movie, other than what would you necessarily have to say? Surely you would just end up talking about the technical aspects of the movie, like the CGI and that kind of throwaway kind of thing, rather than anything particularly innovative or within the
don't you find that quite a sad prospect?
I find it absolutely depressing as hell, to be honest. But
I
mean,
it's
the way things are going, unfortunately, isn't it?
Not to go on a tangent, but you guys know, I said my kid's 17, turned 18. I took my kid to see Alien, the 40th anniversary. But my kid he's basing that because the way I've raised him, and we hate to say it, guys, but how many kids in the past 5 years that their parents don't raise them their phones and their social media? Like no bullshit, guys. Today I just read on. I can't believe I'm saying this guys out loud, but a 14-year-old just died because a kid during a TikTok challenge took a butterfly's remains and mashed it up, mixed it with water. He injected a butterfly into his skin and he died. A 14-year-old.
A 14-year-old.
I'm not even joking. Hand to fucking God. I'm going to talk about this with Luke on.
I mean, to be fair, they were eating Tide Pods 7 years ago or whatever, so I fully believe you. But
I've talked about this on Lance with Drinker and everybody. Listen, the four of us and everybody watching, I'm glad we have, whether we have one viewer or 10,000 viewers, the bottom line is I'm in my 40s. We are not the target generation anymore, target audience.
No,
it
sucks.
So.
We're put out to fucking pastures.
It is what it is. And the times are changing, guys. I mean, again, we remember cassette players, 8 tracks. We remember DVDs. There will come a time, whether you like it or not, where DVDs will no longer, the whole keep buying physical media. Guys, physical media it's not going to be around as long as you think it's going to be.
No. It's not.
I would completely disagree with you on that. I think physical media is going to be.
I hope I'm wrong.
I think it's going to be around.
I think it will always be around, but I think people will stop making it. I think studios will stop making it. Because of the way that it's consumed.
Well, the funny thing about that is that
I mean, Sony have already said they're going to stop making Blu-rays, haven't they? Or do you want to?
Mind you, that's Sony, so who really gives a shit? You know, it's who really cares? But it's you know, like I say, we have these other companies, and they're thriving. They're absolutely thriving. You know, you try to buy a movie from some of these sites because they're limited to 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 copies of each movie.
Yeah,
and you watch them go on eBay for like 180 quid. Once they're gone, they're gone. And then the demand starts all over again because there is a demand for them. So by having those limited editions that they bring out, fortunately I have quite a lot. I mean, I still buy a lot of older movies, particularly 70s movies now that are becoming available, which weren't previously available. But there are a lot of companies. There are an awful lot of companies, but Criterion are still very much in the frame.
No,
I mean the other good thing about physical, of course, is nobody can fuck with it.
Yeah. Well, no, 100%. I hope that
the other day there was a new film, also an old film that had just been re-released, and it's been messed with again.
It's happening more and more.
No.
I mean, I agree. Inside Man, honestly, said I hope I am wrong, and just what worries me is because this is 2025. Like I said, in my area, we had FYE, we had Best Buy, and I'm even joking. Best Buy, even a year ago, I'd walk into Best Buy. They have a massive DVD section, a massive CD section. Best Buy shut down all their DVD section and physical section. GameStop now is actually, we had two and I'm in New York State, which is a pretty big state compared to, like, say, California and Texas. Some GameStop's been shutting down, and it's like, I can't even, no bullshit. I can't go into I can name you 3 local malls around Albany where I cannot actually right now go, besides Walmart, buy a physical DVD. And that scares me because, again, New York State's a pretty big state in America. How half these other states that are like low key and like smaller states, physical media, it's going to become harder and harder to find them. If it's out there, it's going to be a rarity. That's what,
especially things like gaming. I mean, I've just noticed myself in the last 5 years, my games library is now probably as much as 90% digital. Because it's just so easy to just download a game. There you go, boom. I've got change the cartridge around or anything.
You guys know, I was streaming a Ninja Gaiden 2 Black remastered on my PlayStation 5. I wanted to go buy a physical copy. They won't release it on physical. It's
there's quite a few games that are not being released on physical.
So it's like with certain movies now, I would be a big fan of buying DVDs. But the thing is, where do I buy them? That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, what's really strange is that VHS is starting to make a little bit of a comeback because there are now companies that are remanufacturing VHS players.
Holy shit! Really? I mean, vinyl is one thing, but VHS, Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
I do realize I have to rewind the video at the end, right?
Yeah, and you can't just select your fucking language or the features. I mean,
exactly, man. You can't skip from scene to scene or anything like that.
But there is it's very much like using vinyl, isn't it, or using
I can't understand vinyl because you get a sound from vinyl and a prestige with vinyl when you open the package.
I have to be honest with you. I kind of liked that sort of third generation, fourth, fifth generation pirate copied movie that I used to get off of my mates at school. And there was something quite, again, it goes back to the ritual of watching movies. Sitting down, we'd all kind of skip school and go around a mate's house and raid the drinks cabinet, sit there drinking
as I say,
beers or whatever.
For us, because I agree, we will continue buying physical media. I will probably still buy physical media of some description, but when I look at when we're dead and gone and the future generations, I think they're already so digitally coded. I mean, Christ, do they even buy CDs anymore? Do kids even buy CDs anymore? I do. But
it's not even doom and gloom. It's just matter of fact that this 2025, yes, us, but like I'm telling you, my grandkids generation, physical media is going to be going. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's going to be going, guys. And
I'd be very surprised if it's still about. I'd be very surprised if anybody is taking a physical product and putting it in a disk drive. I mean, you can't even buy a computer with a disk drive these days. You can't buy them. They don't exist. I know because I've just bought a new computer. You can't buy a computer with a disk drive, like a CD drive. Sorry, obviously.
Well, DVDs are fucking cheaper now these days, so yeah, buy them while you can. But we are coming up to the end of the show now, and I think we'll leave with final thoughts from our panel now. And yeah, so Inside Man, final thoughts on Escape from New York.
I mean, what can I say that I haven't already said? It's one of my favorite. You know how much I love the 80s movies, and this is actually one of my absolute favorite films, not just one of my favorite movies from the 80s.
Would you put this over The Thing?
No way, no.
I think The Thing is a better movie, but this
it's off the
have
scale.
a little bit more. It's got more of a sense of humor, this one, because The Thing is a bit more serious.
I put The Thing in the fog over this personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that The Thing really is it's off the scale in terms of movie making. It's just one of the
and quite a lot of it is those physical effects as well.
Yeah.
Things again, Northern.
but this is as I say, this is quite a special movie for me. You know, it means something to me, and there are so many movies that we have done on this that mean an awful lot to me. This genuinely does hold a very, very a very treasured place in my heart. This movie does. I can't say anything bad about it, and I would fight anybody who does. No, I wouldn't, but I would certainly argue my corner.
There is a charm to the flaws in this movie. You know, the crazy get-ups, everything, the cheesiness to it. It kind of just makes it more charming.
Yeah.
Critical final thoughts on Escape from New York.
Final thoughts. I would say 2 out of 10 for the movie, plus 6 out of 10 for Adrian Bill's tits. No, it's the kind of movie that I'd give it an 8, and I could easily be talked up to a 9. I think it's a really raw movie. I think there's a lot of really, like I've said before, it's kind of thing that should be studied in film school. Any director could learn a hell of a lot just from looking at this movie and how things were done, what shots have been chosen, how the lighting's been done. And in that way, I can certainly see what Inside Man's saying about the purity of it. I think it is slightly flawed in places, but that only adds to its charm, to be honest, man. So, I think it's a great film. It's by no means my favorite John Carpenter film, but this is the kind of film where somebody was like, oh, do you want to watch Escape from New York? I'm never, ever, ever going to turn around and say no. Every single time I'm like, yeah, put that shit on, man. It's a fucking great film.
Yeah.
Only 6 out of 10. Heresy. Those were
yeah, but then I can only give the movie 0 out of 10, and I can't do that.
So yeah, Blue Collar Lows.
It's 3 for each boob.
Boy, it's hard to give film 10 out of 10, but I could see why some people like from Inside Man's generation. As I'm getting older, but no bullshit. But being a father of a teenager, I can see that some films, as we are getting older, guys, and talking to our friends, some films are generational. For me, this would be a damn straight 9 out of 10. But like, I could see a lot of kids nowadays, my son's generation, giving this film like a 2 or 3 because they're used to a lot faster pace.
I think they look at the special effects and they'd be like, "Oh, where's the why does it look like crap?" Do you know what I mean? But like, if you try to show
that looks like it's been tended to a human for some reason.
No. So like, but the bottom line is whether this film is a 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, as we said before, the cultural references to Snake Plissken and John Carpenter, and as Inside Man said before, the fact that this film was made on a budget of $6 million, when we see nowadays fucking $300-400 million budgets with awful CGI is embarrassing. So Kurt Russell, and as Inside Man said earlier, Kurt Russell, this guy's still acting. He's still an A-lister. 42 years later, we're still talking about Kurt Russell. That says a lot about the man's star power, but also him as an actor, because how many actors fade out because they're pieces of shit to work with? Kurt Russell, when have you ever heard anything bad about Kurt Russell?
Never.
I genuinely don't think I have.
Exactly. So, yes, and as you guys said, I'm dreading the eventual remake because this film has maybe some pacing issues, but I still like it. But like, we're eventually gonna get a remake, and I said, guys,
won't be as good. I I hope that if we do
It's gonna
get a
happen.
remake, I hope it's still good. But it can be
Mhm.
good. It can be a bit more grittier. It can probably be a bit more fleshed out, but it will lack that same sense of mystery and personality that this one had.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, said some films, and this is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a negative thing, but sometimes certain films are a product of their time. This is a product of the 80s. And this was in John Carpenter himself said that his inspiration for making this film was after Watergate. So this is a product of its time, just as much as some people can make a film in 2025 that was inspiration off like whatever 9/11 or off of like Ukraine or just whatever. Some films are essentially political. We don't want to hear about that. But John Carpenter himself said, guys, if it wasn't for Watergate, I wouldn't have made this film. So if they do remake this, it would have to. You couldn't make a film in 2025 that really was based off of like something that happened in the 70s and 80s. It would have to be modern. But so
I mean, you'd have people screaming "defund the police" and ACAB and all that kind of shit if it was to be redone these days. It'd be awful. It'd be absolutely awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still worried about the Running Man remake, even though I've not seen anything of it.
The only thing I will defend a little sliver with that I actually did read the book after prison. And
the artist watching is nothing like the book.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. On top of number one, Glenn Powell, number two, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film is vastly different from the book. There is potential to make a very good remake, but we'll see.
No, the new one's meant to be a lot more like the book, and I'm pretty sure it's Edgar Wright who's doing it. So I've got.
Oh right, okay, fair enough.
I'm being weighed up between
there you go.
A good person doing it.
And it is a big debate because some people I do like Dune 1 and 2 better than the new one versus like the other one, but you know, so
See, I love Denis Villeneuve's Dune, but David Lynch's Dune.
Kind of
there is something about that film. It is punk rock.
There's something about his films because they seem a bit more like Christopher Nolan, except he's not spelling out the exposition. He's actually
Well, my next video, actually, strange enough, is me defending David Lynch's Dune. So there you go.
Can I just quickly say, I really, really need to add this in, right? In fact, there's two things that I really, really desperately need to say. And the first thing is that when Al asked the question, who can you think of these days who is really going to be the savior of film? It's Edgar Wright. It's Edgar Wright, because we're going to be saying goodbye to Quentin Tarantino, unfortunately, because obviously he's making his final film. But I think Edgar Wright is the only filmmaker that has any kind of innovative sensibilities that can move the medium forward and give us something that's thoroughly entertaining and thoroughly original. And secondly, the other thing that I really, really need to say is to thank Melvin for the amount of information that he's actually provided for this stream. Some amazing trivia, stuff that I didn't know, had no idea about, but he was absolutely on fire.
There was as many trivia tidbits as there was tits.
Fucking brilliant. So I will get into the what you have upcoming next. So Inside Man, what have you got next? Is it something to do with a TV show and the final episode about a bald-headed corrupt copper by any chance?
Yep. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that together on Sunday. Really looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to it being the end of the series, but it's always great to be with you guys. Yourself, Lance, Toxic, and Darth Plato as well. But I think he's a lovely chap. But yeah, we have a good time, and it's a great show to be doing. And then obviously next Tuesday I have the Nielsen ratings with again your good self. But yeah, so that's what I've got coming up. So looking forward to it all.
Yep, and Critical, what have you got that's coming next?
As I just said, my next video is going to be defending David Lynch's Dune. I've just put a video up about the death of James Bond because Amazon is going to. I can't even say without you getting demonetized, mate. And other than that, I believe we are back here next Friday for a questionable Sylvester Stallone film.
Yes, Judge Dredd, because I know you worked on that as well, Inside Man, and
yes, I did, yeah.
Fantastic.
You would need a whole bottle of this for that film.
Mate, I'm gonna have to do it.
I've actually been reading a little bit of classic Dredd the old classic Dread comic strip, the case files, and a little bit of the cast F as well. You know.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I've got a load of the collected 2000 AD on a tablet somewhere.
Yeah. I have to respect Northern English because one of our friends talked and said, "Why don't you do the Carl Urban one?" You know what? Like, how about we do the bad version before we do the good version?
I have a soft spot for the 2000 for the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd in places. There's some stuff about it that's really bad. There's some things about it that are quite good and quite true to 2000 AD, and I still think it's an amazing film score. I love the score to Judge Dredd.
Fucking mutants in the cast F look very fucking accurate to.
You got the ABC Warriors and stuff like that. And there's some things about it are good, and I just part of me is just I really, really, really wish he hadn't taken off his fucking helmet. There's some stuff in it that is proper Judge Dredd.
We will get more into that next week because that was a film that was obviously fucking changed a lot as it was being made, but we will get more.
Christ, man, you can I wonder how much of that was Stallone as well, because didn't he have
because he obviously had a bit of a fucking ego back then as well.
Of course, he's made it to.
But yeah, Blue Collar, what you got coming next? Is it
actually no 20 minutes? No, 20 minutes. Me and Lord Tox are gonna talk about the monkey.
Oh yes. I'll watch the replay on that if I get a chance. And
I'll try and get the replay.
It's just like it's retarded, but I had fun. But no, of course, me and you, buddy, will be Sunday doing our new weekly news show. We eventually will get more people on, just talking about weekly news stuff. Hopefully tonight I'll play more video games. I'm just listen.
I whiskey show, Blue.
Yes,
I like that. That's good, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, I try like I said, listen to our buddies. The funny part, I said Sunday, Al. It's like listen, Sunday, no stream on Sunday. Drinkers open bar. Lance is doing Tuesday. Then of course, Gooch does Sunday. Vex does Sunday. Was it Mrs. Sasquatch does Sunday? Then everyone's doing fucking Sunday. I'm like, the one day I wanted for myself, you pricks. But no, it's funny because we have all of our friends. We have like our buddies, our friend Leon, Enzo does Sunday night. Like, I like the fact that at this point I've made so many good friends. Where like the fact I've got 30 friends all doing stuff. I can never say that like I'm bored and there's no one to talk to. There's always something going on.
Yeah,
so it's great.
I
love doing this, man. It's just good to chat. Just good to chat films, dude.
Yeah, and we've always said that. Like sometimes the chat, man, I love talking to people with Mr. E, Nix, Rachel, Babs is there. There's something more, I guess, like personal versus having 10,000 people in our fucking chat. Sometimes I like having 6 people talk with us.
Exactly, so I feel that's the good thing about still being a smaller channel. I mean, you get to respond to everyone a little bit more.
And not just the super chats that come through. Yeah,
exactly.
And the weird thing is, right? Tell me if you disagree with me. The weird thing is, it doesn't actually feel like we're streaming. It just feels like, us guys are having a chat, and there's other people are communicating with us, on their keyboard.
Which is exactly what I love about it.
It feels very intimate,
Blue Collar was trying to get laid with the chat, mate. All right, don't cock block him.
We could all be down the pub, that's how it feels. We could all just be down the pub just chatting about stuff. And that's great.
But so I think that's the end of the show anyway, because we've been on for like 3.5 fucking hours now, and I need to go for a piss. So I've been holding it in too long for the last 3.5 hours. I need to go. So,
I've been peeing in the bucket.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. Inside Man, always good to have you on. Critical, Blue Collar Loser, and Nick, Rachel, Percy, Art, and Mr. E. You've been fucking great. Melvin, deeply, you've always been great. Feel free to come on the chat again anytime, or we'll even do a stream. Any of you lot, if you want to do a stream and not just be in chat, let me know, and I'll try and fit you in if we are overcumbered. So Melvin Deeply, Daft, Plato as well. Thanks for joining us, man. Hope to see you again on Sunday. Hope you can make it, and I hope your mic isn't fucking up too badly this time.
I love Darth. I think
Rachel, Persiat, thanks for joining me. Nix, always. I think I might have mentioned Tom, always welcome, man. And Pollution Guy, where are you? Digital Pollution, thanks for joining us. Well,
Tony was in
Tony K.
Lawrence, Tony K as well. Who else? Fuck, we got a lot in chat today, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor bastards. Too many people in chat. Oh, yeah.
man, I hope this momentum keeps up as the streams keep going.
You need a moderator.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm still scrolling up just to see if there's anyone I missed. I don't want to leave anyone out. I think I've mentioned Low Toxic. Yeah, Gavin Blackburn, thank you, man. Once again, welcome. Who else? Come on. I'm still scrolling here. I'm not going to fucking... I'm going to be alone, mate.
Professional setup here.
Ryan, thank you. I think I'm coming up to the top now.
All right.
Who else? Come on. Because I don't want to leave anyone out. I feel really fucking guilty if I did. Right, that's it. I'm off. Fuck it. I can't be asked. I'm joking.
off to the pub.
Yeah. I think we are coming up a bit to the top now. Fucking hell, man. You know, I'm just going to get a notepad and actually write down the notes of people. This has been a good old chat. This is a very good fucking...
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really good.
I hate you all.
Timothy Burke as well. Please, I might have forgotten to put your YouTube links in the fucking description, so I will do that as soon as I can. And please, if you can, please subscribe to my fan friends. You can always click on the names in the chat and go to channel and subscribe if you haven't already. And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for joining us. And remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to be notified. If you wish to further support the channel, links will be in the description below. But right now, that's us done. And we're off to the pub.
See ya.